You make it 50, 60K a month.
At that age, like 50, 60K a month.
2011-ish, some
all the way till indictment. But
now, how'd they get you?
What happened? Oh my God, man. Like me, what my uncle say, he's deceased now. He said, boy, you got those big kahunas. Boy, you take more risks, more chances than anybody I ever met. One of my friends, he gets out of prison for drug dealing stuff. So now he needs to get on his feet. So I'm like, well, let me help you out, man. This is what I'm doing over here. He's like, man, that don't work. That's for those girls. Like, whatever. He's doubting what I'm doing. So I bring him in on what I'm doing. First things first, and I kind of explain it to him, but he was more fascinated with kind of having control. So he used the Ukrainian work, and he was using what it got his own reader writer. He was able to press up the cards with a bosser, do all of his own stuff. Yeah. So he and we were doing it together. He got on his feet quick within a couple months, right? So he ended up getting in trouble, man. He got in trouble when he came back and started wearing a wire and getting me to admit crimes that I was committing and things that I was involved with. So what ended up happening, he was like, we was getting money. I'm talking about we was making all kind of money, partying, traveling, drunk. I mean, we were busting all kind of moves, right? So what he did was he got in trouble, and I guess he offered me, or they asked him about me, one or the other. So what he did, he started wearing a wire around 2011, and they built the case for a couple years. So
What's up, guys? If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Also, please smash that like button on the video and enjoy the show.
Oakland A's games, they were like $6.
Oh, they're $2 now.
No, buy one get one free.
Those stands are the sorriest things I've ever seen in my life. There's like 2 people in them. Wasn't there? Were the Oakland A's the team that had the 2 people like fucking in the upper level last year? Did you see that video?
I didn't see it, but I'm sure they did because nobody's there. But like the sewage system that runs underneath the stadium is terrible. It just needs a whole tear down. But they're going to Vegas anyway.
Oh, they are? They're going to Vegas. I didn't even know that.
They got approved. So they'll leave in 2026, 2027.
Another team gone.
Another team gone. So Oakland as a city has no team now.
That's honestly, that's kind of sad.
So they you don't have money to eradicate 6,000 homeless people. You definitely can't be giving $1 billion or $500 million to a sports team. Like they're looking to recall the mayor. She's been in office 8 months, done nothing. It's just all kind of things that affect the city that was already bad and has bad rap.
Well, O-Town, I hope to see it come back too, because there's so much great history there.
So much great history.
You know? But I can't believe you're like 50 years old, man. You look like you're 35.
Well, see, again, like I think what helped preserve me was adopting like a stress-free lifestyle. Like if I can't control it, I can't worry about it, man. Like my younger brothers, they're both completely bald already, and they're like, how do you have a full head of hair? What are you taking? What are you eating? We want to switch our diets. I'm like, it's nothing to do with that, man. I'm just like, okay, my girlfriend wants to leave, bye. I mean, my daughter, when my daughter's mom moved my daughter to Missouri, it hurt me so bad because I felt like she was taking her away from me. I couldn't do nothing about it because at the time I was on probation. I was coming out of prison. I didn't have my stuff together enough to go to court and fight her. So she was able to take my kid away and raise her in a whole other state, which was hurtful to me after I did prison and missed part of her life anyway. So I'm like, what worse can happen? So I just don't worry about stuff I can't control. And then you know how most people will always talk about the problem and give only 10% to the solution. So they never get nowhere because they only worry about problems like, okay, we know the problem, let's fix it. Let's work on fixing it. We come with 3 things to fix this problem instead of keep talking about it over and over. My girl right now, she does that because this is wrong in the school. We're going to have to put her in a different charter school. Okay, let's just do it. Find one, because men don't care about that. We just let me review it. Let me, if I got to pay for it, let me review this new school she's going to go to. I want to meet the teacher. Set some interviews up. Don't tell me they're not doing this, they're not doing that. She should be learning at a faster pace as the kids that live 2 zip codes away. Okay, how much those schools over there cost? $1,500 of them. Okay, let's figure it out. She's 3 years old. Let's get her what she needs instead of talking about it, dwelling on it. That's what's gonna make
admire that, man.
That's gonna make me get more gray hair, or it's gonna make my hair fall out. Worrying about it.
Right, stress-free living. It's hard to do. I mean, I've been talking about it recently. It's been very stressful around here, and I'm into all that type of stuff, like even reading things about how to de-stress, how to put things on. And honestly, one of the common themes that I'll see is people will talk about perspective. Well, what is the challenge of this situation versus your overall challenge in life, or the worst thing that could happen to you?
The worst.
And you're like, God damn it. And then you think about it and you're like, actually, that's a fair point.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. But I mean, I don't like to say what a lot of people are worse off than us, but what I do like to say is that we all choose what the direction we can go. We all have a choice. Nothing's mandatory no more. Like, it's the easiest thing for me was to do is rationalize, which we'll get into. Rationalize some messed up stuff that I was doing, and I knew I was wrong. I could rationalize and make myself feel better about doing it. And then when other people say something about whatever, I was like, y'all dumb anyway. I mean, you dumb anyway. What's up? I don't want to hear shit from you. So anyway.
Yeah, your story from what I've heard of it is pretty nuts. And I was talking to my friend Matt Cox, who did a great podcast with you. And he's like, you got to talk to Trulane. But you really, I mean, you had multi-levels to your career here. And it started as a child, like very young. But it wasn't this, kind of typical, you would think like, okay, didn't have any opportunities or whatever. Like you had two great parents at home, a great family. They did well. They're doing great today as well. But you kind of went off the beaten path. I guess what, like age 11, something like that?
About age 11, but it was it probably started around 8 because at the beginning, it started around 8. So I want to just say this real quick too. My father was my hero for up until like 7 or 8 years old when I started seeing other things in my community, what was going on. And then I'm looking at him and the decisions he made. And then I'm looking at the other guys in the community that are getting money, providing for the family, maybe taking care of the neighborhood. And he supported his family, of course, but he seemed like disengaged with what was going on around him. Because after he got off work, he just came home and he was like in the house. He didn't go around the neighborhood as much as we did.
What did your dad do?
My dad was a police officer.
No shit.
Yes, he actually was a police officer, like in the city of Berkeley.
So not Oakland. You're
Not
from Oakland.
No. It just wouldn't have worked. I'm from Oakland my whole life, born, raised. I mean, of course, I moved in between, but mainly Oakland, moved back to Oakland, and because I actually love the city. I love the city and everything about it. It's just, look what it did for me. Almost got me killed, sent me to prison, allowed me to change my life and help people. Like right now, my whole thing is if we can help a bunch of homeless people just find houses, that to me would be a great, that's a great accomplishment as far as I'm concerned, or just disadvantaged people that think they don't have a chance to succeed, show them a way. Because if all you know is all you know, you would never do nothing but that. You know what I mean? Because in Oakland, you have people, and I'm thinking this in all inner cities, they hardly even leave their 10-block radius.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like I was talking about Santa Cruz before we started.
Where Leslie's from.
Some people never been or won't go to Santa Cruz, and it's just like an hour and 40-minute drive. It's so beautiful there. It's ocean front. They have a boardwalk, the food, the people. It's a lot of amazing things about it, but it's people in Oakland that will never even go that far. And that's so close. So if all you know is like your corner market, that's where you get your groceries from. The mall is like a outlet flea market style mall. You don't know anything about luxury malls. You don't know anything about higher end items and merchandise. You don't know what's possible to achieve because you're trapped in your environment.
Because so many, and it's obviously not all of Oakland, but there's pockets of Oakland where there's people who are living to survive. You know, they don't make much money. Maybe they only, as kids, they have one parent in the home. There's not, and we see this is a pattern we see in different places across the country. There's a lack of hope for some people. So you get so stuck in that world because that's all you know. That's all there is. There's nothing outside that.
Yeah, that's all you know. So that, again, like that's all they've been shown is the most successful person that they know basically has a job working for like $25 an hour. So to them, if they reach that level, they're winning in life. You know what I mean? It's a lot of pockets of Oakland where it's so much poverty. Like as soon as you walk out your house, people are dealing drugs in front of the building. People are robbing, and like the crime, the burglary, the property crimes, assaults. I mean, even myself, I was shot there, but I still believe in the city.
We'll get to that. That was recent.
That was recently, but I believe that there's still good people around there. So if you know, like, okay, so if you live in Oakland, they're gonna say either you got shot or you know somebody that got shot for sure. If you're living in Oakland, so that's a thing that is nothing to be proud of. But these little kids at 8 years old, 10 years old are growing up knowing that there's killers in this community. That was one of my things. When I found out that I had to live amongst killers and nobody was doing nothing about it, I was desensitized. I had a
How old
animosity.
were you when you first realized that?
I think I was about 11, 10, 11,
Wow.
because knowing someone that got killed and then hearing whispers of the killer and actually seeing the person yourself, knowing that that's the person and he's walking free, nobody will cooperate with the police. And then if you approached him or said something about him and act like you knew, you may be next, because in that community, kids aren't exempt. I mean, I know 16-year-old kids, 15-year-old kids that were murdered for just knowing too much or seeing too much or possibly, drug territory. Get killed. 15-year-old kid get killed over drug territory. They told you don't sell over here. You did it anyway. You were sneaking around doing it. Okay, the person that killed you was a few years older than you, and nobody's going to cooperate the police to help convict that person. Neighbors want no cameras, of course. I mean, the police may have heard whispers of the name of the assailant, but they're not going to actively search for them. So once I knew that, I mean, I lost faith in the police. I didn't look up to police.
Even with a dad who was a cop.
Yeah, that's about the time when I'm like, well, he's one of them. I became of the belief that this is not my hero any longer because he's one of them. The people who resonate with me and who I can relate to better are the people at the car wash that I start hanging at. They had nice cars. They were getting money basically off hustling, but they were helping the mothers who didn't have. They would go buy all the kids ice cream. When the ice cream truck came, they'd buy 20 kids in the neighborhood ice cream. Now it's ladies.
Grooming them.
I mean, that this is what I saw. So I'm like, wait a minute, my dad never did this. He's not such a great guy, but he was working to take care of his family and kind of trying to make sure the best for my mother. Like, I didn't understand the concept. Like, your wife is most important to you, then your children, and you have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about everything else because one person can't save the world. So
Right.
he did that for just a job. I found out that he wasn't so emotionally invested in it, but as far as I was concerned, he was, because you're one of them.
So he was your hero, though, you were saying, until you were about 8 years old and you started to notice some of these hustlers on the block who would do these things for other people. But when you were young, were you, obviously you're going to school, were you doing well in school along that at that time?
I mean, as long as I was in school participating, I did well, because the school is simple. Read a book, answer the questions, turn it in on time, have good attendance. So I just don't think it's the best system anymore. But I was going to school. I went home. I did my homework. He helped me with my homework. Again, this was my hero.
So he's around.
Showed me how to ride a bike. Showed me how to ride a skateboard. At one point, I thought I would be a professional skateboarder back when Steve Caballero, Tony Hawk, and those guys were thrashing all through the empty swimming pools. That's like 8, 10, right before hustling. I thought I was going to become that. You know what I mean? He's like, make sure you're in on time. Stop going so fast down the hill on the skateboard. But once I found out that it's guys in the neighborhood that are like actively out there on the ground doing things that people can recognize. Like, his contribution over in that city he worked in didn't relate back to our neighborhood. Because, okay, we lived in a house. 3 blocks away, it's a Section 8 house. No, it's not. It's a housing authority apartments everywhere where people pay $80 a month rent. So these same people don't have any food at their house. Mother may be on drugs. Mother may not be on drugs. They're struggling. Most of them had single parents, right? So I'm like, wait. They don't have no food, but we have a refrigerator full of food. I want to bring these kids over here so they can eat. So, I mean, we can only do that so many times before he starts saying, wait, I just went grocery shopping and I'm feeding you guys and all of your friends. I mean, they can come over and eat sometimes, but not every single day. And then I go outside and I see the neighborhood hustlers feeding people, helping out. Like, okay, they could say, well, they took the money out of the community. They have to put it back in. However,
But that's not how you're seeing it at that age.
All I'm saying is that my friends that I go to school with, that I pay $1.25 for lunch, get that same lunch for free.
Right.
So it's a disconnect. I shouldn't have to pay if they don't have to pay. But my dad, like, nah, we both have jobs. Your mom and I work. This is just how it is. Let's move on. Don't focus on that. Focus on what you're gonna do to not become like them. You know what I mean? So I mean, once I start thinking about it and putting it in perspective, I wanted to go around the guys more that were actually doing things that I could see. Like I could see their contribution. I can see how they were helping out. And
When did you understand how they made their money? Like, how old were you when you realized, oh, they're selling drugs?
like about 11, 10, about 11, because
like, could you could you conceive what that meant? Like, what they were putting into the community by doing that?
not all the way, because
Right.
I didn't know the story behind it. So what happened was at the car wash, these guys come up to the car wash and they'd be like, hey, you want to make some money? Help wipe my rims off. They have gold rims, spoke rims on these old school classic cars, and these cars are worth $10,000-$15,000 back then. So I'm like, sure. So I help them wipe the rims, and they'll give me $40. And as a kid, $20 or $40 is a lot of money for an 11-year-old
like
kid.
Late 80s here?
This is talking like 86,
Oh my God.
87. So for me, that helped me buy. I could buy a pair of Reeboks with that for like $27. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Go to Mervyn's, get a pair of Levi's, and I'm going to school now like I'm somebody. So they didn't hand it off at the car wash or in front of us, but I did see bags getting exchanged. Okay, well, something in that bag that's worth something to them. So it wasn't the physical drugs that I saw, but it was bags being exchanged at the car wash.
What time of day would you be at the car wash?
It was after school, so it was like in between 2 and 5, because then at that young age, I was supposed to be at a friend's house. My mom had already told us, don't go near the car wash, don't go near the liquor store, or don't go near the wash house. We have a washer and dryer at our house. What are you going by that wash house for? They sell drugs over there. What are you going near the liquor store for? You're not old enough to drink. And then the car wash is where all the hustlers congregated. So I wasn't supposed to go near none of those spots. But in one day to make $80, or between me and 2 other friends, over $100 for sure, just from helping wipe rims at that age. So I'm like, oh, there's something going on here. I need to know, and I need in.
And this is why, because it's between 2 and 5, like you said. So your mom's still at work, your dad's still at work, and they just thought you were going to a friend's house every day, and they didn't check on that.
Yeah, because they didn't drive home that way. But had they drove home that way and saw me there, I would have been ground. I would have been, it would be bad. But they didn't, so I was able to sneak around.
And you were hiding the money from them, obviously?
At that time, obviously, I was hiding the money, but it was just like, I mean, I got allowance and I got lunch money, so I learned saving at an early age. Like, you remember cassette tapes were like $10 each.
I don't.
Well, a cassette tape was $10, and I had a Walkman. So what happened is, I get $20 in a week from my parents for allowance, but I don't want to spend it. I want to save it. So when I do buy me a couple cassette tapes, I don't want to be broke. So it didn't look horrible. It didn't look horrible until I actually start hustling. It was looking like I was having more money than I was supposed to have. But in the beginning, like getting $20, and then I had cousins that were hustling on another side of town. Like they lived like 20 blocks away, car distance or a long bike ride. So when I go over there, like cleaning the backyard would get me $60 once a week. And I'm like, wait, how can they
clean
afford
the backyard?
To clean the backyard? And all you're really doing is like scooping up some dog poop, run the lawnmower over the grass one time, and it's just, they have big bankrolls.
Oh, yeah, peel them off.
Now I needed to know. I'm like, oh, hell no, I need to know what's going on. And then I start hearing the word of, what was going on, and I finally saw a transaction myself, and it changed my life forever. I was like, okay.
Where'd you see that?
It was a area called Brookfield. It's over in Brookfield. This is where it's like a pool hall, liquor store, another like 4 liquor stores, a liquor store on each corner, a pool hall, a laundromat again. And it's just like close to the airport. They say if you want to find some bad stuff going on, go a few blocks and travel amongst the airports, and you'll find out what's going on in almost any city. So I was over there and I saw a hand-to-hand deal for $50. It was just like cutting butter. I said, damn, it was that easy. He gave him $50 for something that looked at like.
Was the person buying it, did they have the appearance to you of like a junkie?
No, back then it was an expensive drug. So you had to have like $50 or better to buy it. You had to be kind of it started off maybe as a rich person's high, I guess. It's not for it's like when the prices dropped and it was accessible to more people, then the people were looking like junkies because they get strung out real quick. But initially, when I first saw it, it was $20 to $50 was the price of it. You couldn't really get nothing for under that. So back in those days, who had that much money to spend on drugs? You had to be doing well, working class person or something. Like you're not going to just be a drug addict.
So something in you click though during this period where you go from I'm looking up to my dad, who's the law and order guy. You know, he's the cop. He runs a great household. We have everything we need. To I want to be as rich as possible because that's what those guys do. Guys, if you're still watching this video and you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, please take 2 seconds and go hit it right now. Thank you. So did you feel like because, you know, money affects people at young ages a lot, you know, once you become aware of it. But did you feel that that was power? Like, is that emotionally what you were after?
Well, initially, my first sales, my first transactions were my friends that lived in the housing authority apartments that didn't have money. Like if they didn't do this, then their next money didn't come till the first of the next month. Their mother was on welfare, got food stamps, not an EBT card. It was food stamps that you had to tear out of a packet. So these guys don't get new shoes. They don't get new clothes. And after the food stamps are gone, it's no more food coming in that house realistically. So I know on the TV they may show this, but you have kids in East Oakland and all over the country that are starving if they don't do something about it. So we would go to the to the grocery store and push baskets, because if you push a basket back that somebody left in the parking lot, they'll give you a quarter. So you do that for 2 hours and we get $7. And now they can go buy a little bit of ground beef, some bread, take it home and make burgers for the night. Now we're 10 years old. So a 10-year-old kid with a mother on welfare is going outside trying to figure out a way to bring bread and meat in the house.
Yeah.
So when we got the opportunity, because the older guys always told us, you guys can't do this. We're not putting kids involved with this thing because it's terrible. We know kind of the dangers of it. You don't understand it. You just want some money. So he was like,
That's fascinating that they were like that.
I mean,
It's actually like kind of honorable.
It was, I mean, if you can say honorable related to this type of thing. However, they wouldn't let us. They didn't invite us in. But my friend starving, he's begging them to work for them. And they know his mom. His mom really has a $60 rent and then may get $400 a month total. And that's it to raise 3 kids. So he got the okay green light first. Okay, you can come out a few hours a day. You spend 50, you make 100. That's it. You go home. We don't need you out here constantly. Or you can just work my stuff for me. I'll pay you by the day or by the week, and you go home.
That's how it starts.
I wasn't allowed to do it. I had both parents at home. They knew that. They was like, you live in the houses up the hill, which is only 4 blocks away from the actual transactions happening. Nah, you got to go. Matter of fact, get out of here or go home. So they brushed me off for months until one day older guy, brand new Mustang, gold ones and everything. He had somewhere to go. And he asked me to hold his stuff while he went and did whatever else he had to do and sell it. And if anybody came, you hand them this, they're going to give you $40, $50. That was how I started. So once he trusted me.
How old are you now?
I'm 11.
You're
I'm
still
11 when I make my first transaction. I'm 11 years old.
So this is like after school.
After school hours, yep. He was at the car wash. I had took the stuff and I had to just go a block away to the space where people come. So I was finished way before he came back and I had all the money straight without $1 being short. And he kind of like, okay, so you get it. He's the word, you down, huh? You down? I'm like, yeah, I told you this months ago. And from there, the trust kind of came.
But you're only 11. You're a little pipsqueak.
I know. I wore Converse tied up real tight.
You weren't worried about getting hit or something like that?
Not at that point. Because it was simple. Like, okay, he left me about 200 worth, 300 worth. Gave me $60. It was so easy. I was finished long before he got back. So now I'm waiting around. More people came while he was gone. I told him that. I was like, I needed more because more people came. But he was like, nah, it's still not for you. Right on for helping me out. But he didn't give it right back to me. And then I had to still prove myself after that, which I don't know why. But again, I'm a person that didn't have to do it. These other children did it for survival. And we're kids outside, like almost like a third world country, I guess you could say, because nobody's coming in to save us. Nobody seemed to care. I mean, the neighbors knew what was going on. What I can say is that every single household wasn't affected by it, and it was kind of a selective thing. they knew about it, but they weren't involved with it. Like a lot of those houses had nothing to do with what was going on in the community, but turning a blind eye, excuse me, turning a blind eye to what's going on isn't healthy either. Because now you're not contributing and you're just watching this whole community go downhill, I guess. So
yeah. So you do that first one. They say, no, we don't want you doing this. But you keep going back, hanging around these places.
every day.
You're hooked because
Every day.
you felt that money and you're like, oh my God, I got to have a part of this. So you start cutting school at this point too, or?
Well, so next thing that happened is I one of my friends, the friend who initially started with me, he got arrested for having some on him, and I was with him. I had a little bit on me. He was trying to help me get on my feet because the older guys wouldn't give it to me. So he'll give me a couple pieces and say, all right, just sell this and, make 30, 40 bucks, but don't let them see you, basically. But he got arrested and went to juvenile hall, and he was there 3 days, 5 days, and he got out. And then when he get out, he's like, man, it was kind of fun in there. I had a good time. It wasn't that bad as I thought, man. You remember the one kid that we know from Frick? Oh, he's there. And what about the other kid that we knew that went to McChesney, right? He's there too. All these other dudes we haven't been seeing, they're in juvenile hall. They won't get released because they don't have a fit home. They don't have a solid home. So they're going to foster homes. Oh. Yeah. So if social services deem that you don't have a safe house to go back to, they keep you in juvenile hall till they find you a placement. So I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, because his mom's on drugs, his dad is not there, and if he goes back home and gets caught selling drugs, they can take the housing authority away from his mom, so she can't let him back. He's going to a foster home. So he starts telling me about what he realized that he can't stop doing it, and I don't have to do it, and I'm just choosing it. So he kind of didn't want to hang with me no more. So he's like, I got to go full-fledged because if I don't do this, we don't eat at my house. You have both parents at your house. I don't really want to hang with you because you kind of like choosing something that's really might not be right for you. So he went away from me. We separated.
It's strange how in these types of situations, and I've heard this before with some similar stories, but it's like they resent you for having it, but they want you to protect the fact that you have it.
Exactly.
You understand? It's so...
And this is my friend. I went to elementary school with this kid. But since we have so much different home lives at home, he went off and went full-fledged. But now at this point, I'm wondering, trying to figure out what I'm going to do. And this one OG, I just won't say his name because he's still probably doing the same kind of stuff. Still, this long later, he trusted me enough, man, and said, all right, it's on you. I want you to help me out with this. It was like he had a duplex. The front one was all hustling, and then the back one was for living. So it was rolling. It was traffic there.
Business in the front, party in the back.
Yeah, party in the back. So it was nonstop booming. So I was able to get over there and really catch the hang of it. So getting away from
You're still 11.
No, I'm going on 12 now because now once I had a birthday. 12 is almost.
I'm a man now.
I know more. Don't call me a little boy no more. Don't call me. I'm not a little boy no more because I'll fight and you know what I mean. I can stay out to 9 o'clock now. At 12, excuse me. I can stay out to 9 o'clock now, so no one can rush me in the house. It's not when the street light come on at 6 anymore, and I'll. It's not when the street light come on anymore, so I'm good now, right? So I'm getting my own packs now. I'm getting my own bundles now. Like it comes in a little package. I can get my own package, which was what changed my life forever.
This is all crack?
All crack, yeah. At the time, it was booming. This crack, like a person can make $1,000 a day easily in 89, 88, 89. Okay, 88.
NWA era right now.
Yep.
Hardcore.
You can make $1,000 a day as a kid. Only about 300 of it to be profit, but still at 12 years old,
that's pretty fucking good.
I started making $300 a day at 12, verifiably like 88, 89, and now it's everywhere. Everybody knows about it. It's flooded the community at this point. Now they're selling $10 worth and up. It's no more 20 and 50 like it was in 86, 85, 86. 87. Like at first it was just like a straight rich guys thing.
What's I don't know how much you know about this, but this is one of those that's come up sometimes, and I've looked at it before, but I don't know a hell of a lot about it. What's the whole thing with the idea that like the CIA flooded these communities with crack, because obviously it's like you have cocaine and crack, and it's just marketing. Like one they market is, oh, you got to pay $110 a gram for this because that's a rich people drug, and the other one they market as, oh, you can get it for $5 and get strung out for a second. And like you said, it diverged there somewhere in the 80s. What happened there? Do you know anything about that?
So the story I heard and what I kind of did my best to verify is that the big coke dealers were down in Los Angeles, and they had Colombian connections to get multiple kilos to supply entertainers, actors, like wealthy people, as you said, doctors, lawyers, everybody used the cocaine. So somehow they formulated a recipe to make it into a base rock, but they brought it to Oakland to perfect the recipe. The recipe wasn't written in Oakland, but for somehow this is where the origin of the drug allegedly was formed. Like they saying the first crack rock was sold in Oakland. Okay, who verified this, and how could we know this for a fact? Okay, and they traced it back to about 84. One person, it was like one person that had it, and he got rich as hell selling it, and then he told people, and they told another person, and they start sharing the recipe. So how else did it get there? Okay, we can say that they could have put a lot more money into the schools, and then it would have had a lot more educated young kids growing up that would be very smart, right? They could have gave us the education that young Chinese kids have, or young Asian kids, I want to say. I don't want to say Chinese, young Asian kids. So here it is that this drug pops up, and then all of a sudden the communities all around Oakland, Richmond, San Francisco, and inner cities is not going to the suburbs. So who has the power to do something like this? I mean, black people, as intelligent as we are, we don't have the capacity to know how to go become a chemist, make a recipe, and form a drug that's going to be a quick high, get you strung out for 30 minutes, and then you're going to want another hit.
Let me correct that. Civilians don't have that.
Civilians, okay,
period,
yeah,
don't have
thank
that
you for that
ability.
However, but they'll accredit black people with forming and developing it if we don't look past that fact and say where could it have really come from. So the CIA, they knew that people move for money. Okay, we offer these young men in between 17 and 25 millions of dollars to promote this and spread this out as widely as possible, and then we'll make them seem like kingpins, arrest them, and give them 30 years and act like we're cleaning it up. We look good, they look horrible, but then it's almost a problem that won't be able to be corrected. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how rough the crack is now, because I heard a lot of other drugs came in and took over. Well, we all know.
And it's also all infested with, I mean, half these drugs are infested with like fentanyl and stuff.
So now that's why I'm like, is crack as prominent as it used to be based off the fentanyl crisis, the heroin, the opiate, even prescription drugs. Like now I'm hearing like almost 1 in 5 kids in high school are addicted to a prescription drug, opiate of some sort or another.
Have you seen any of those documentaries or miniseries that have come out about like the Sacklers and the opium boom?
Well, I saw it, but I don't watch them in their entirety because I participated directly in the drug trade. So what the effect that has on me is this: like I lived this, right? They're gonna paint a narrative of how they want you to believe it. But me being able to participate directly in the crack era, knowing that it's like it's no way you give a kilo is 1,000 grams. You give a 16, 17-year-old 1,000 grams of cocaine and just let him run around in the urban community. It's no way that'll end up with a positive. So myself, as well as a few other guys that were doing it at that level at a young age, I mean, we thought we were doing something, but the damage we were doing was just so much worse than the contribution of us even giving back to disadvantaged families. You know what I mean? So Snowfall, BMF, or these series, and even the documentaries they make about this drug, I don't watch it now because I'm going to use my time to kind of try to do something to help people who are affected by it, or which is so hard. Like I met a girl, 30 years old, addicted to fentanyl. She didn't want to hear nothing. Like I was talking to her. She was looking through me and just wanting money to go get some. And she's like, if you don't give it to me, I'm going to end up in the hospital. Please give me money so I can go get that.
I do think there is a huge difference, though. between between the two, and I'm not legitimizing any form of drug dealing or anything like that. It's wrong. It's a horrible thing. What drugs do to communities is disgusting. But there's a large difference between drug dealing that comes out of, say, poor places where people don't have opportunities and they end up turning to the thing that might be able to make them money, which is completely wrong, obviously. Don't support it. But the difference between that and being a wealthy, legalized cartel like the people were, the Sacklers were, for the opium trade and what they did and how they used their money to buy influence and to buy politicians and to lie to the American people and the world, for that matter, about what they were doing to them and cause an era of pain, which is what ironically what their drug was supposed to take away. There's something about that that's a little extra disgusting to me. Again, not saying that any kind of drug dealing is like okay. I'm just saying that to me is on a whole nother level.
I mean, back to your initial point, how did it get there? Because we didn't go seeking it. It kind of was dropped off there to some chosen people. Like, I remember when I was about 11, 12, it was a dude in our community that was a millionaire at 17 years old.
17.
He had 10 crack houses.
In the 80s.
In the 80s. You can look him up. We
What was
will.
His name?
Oh, my God. I don't really want to say his name because
So
I just don't want to say his name. But if you put it in there, 17-year-old Oakland millionaire, 86, 88, I bet you he'll come up. But see, my thing is that if you allow this to happen, he has workers almost twice his age, 10 crack houses at 17, still graduated high school. I mean, $100,000 birthday party for his 18th birthday, indicted at 19 and gave 35 years. Was that the coldest setup ever? No, 20. Let him do a ball hard as you can for 2 years, indicted him and gave him 35 years at 20. So it started around 16. He was able to ball hard for 3 years. I'm talking about Corvettes and Mustangs and Mercedes-Benz, whatever you can have. I want to think he had a Porsche 992, whatever the best Porsche was at the time. We knew him. He came to the car wash, hand every kid out there $40 just for being there. You know what I mean? He didn't even barely want his car washed, but we saw this. So it's like,
it's power.
How could this be? Who set him up and he didn't recognize this? Like the cartel came directly to him, of all people, and allowed him to make this kind of money. So we wanted. He was the new hero.
They chose him.
He was the new hero.
Yeah.
Like my dad. Oh, my dad making $45,000 a year. What? You're not having an effect on this community, man. You don't even know these people. And then he actually one time said like, I don't want you over there at those dirty people houses. You know what I mean? I don't want you hanging with them because you come here and your clothes smells like smoke and you're looking all dusty and dirty like you were wrestling in the mud.
How old are you when he's telling you this?
He was telling us that about 8, 9 years old. Okay. Because again, our friends are our friends.
This was before you're.
Yeah, this was before. So he didn't like our friends. So I was like, why you don't like my friends? These are cool dudes. They're cool with me. You know, we climb trees, we pick plums, we throw rocks. But then now we're hustling together. Once he saw that, he wanted to keep me away from those guys however he could. You know what I mean? So
your dad being a law enforcement officer, I would imagine he can spot some things, a thing or 10.
Oh yeah.
How long did it take, not before he approached you about it, but how long do you think it was before he had a serious suspicion that like you're hanging around the wrong people? Not even dealing, but you're just like, oh, he's definitely going places he shouldn't be.
It was a few months. Like once I got a pager, and I got a pager, and what? It was a few months. It didn't take long at all. His law enforcement, his intuition. I mean, and the father knows his son. I'm not asking for lunch money. I messed up by. I mean, kids believe we're brilliant, but we're really not. My father saw through me. So what happened? This is how it started, honestly, too.
And you were the oldest brother of the kids?
I'm the oldest of 3. Okay. Yes. So I start grabbing my lunch money off the table. By this point in junior high, you get like $5 a day for lunch because, you know, you want the chili fries and some soda, whatever, right? $5 a day. Now that I'm having $300, $500, $700 of my own money, I stopped picking up the money off the table.
You keep it, Mom.
He didn't say much at first. And then after I was like, oh, I forgot to grab it. He was like, you didn't eat at school? No, I waited till I came home and I just ate at home. And then he was like, wait a minute. And then one of the church members said they saw me hanging at the wash house. Ooh. Now, if I hear you at the wash house again, if I hear you at the liquor store, wash house, or any of those areas that you know are forbidden, you're going to have to get out of my house. Because there's nothing you could be doing there.
And you're like 12?
I'm 12 going on 13, yes. So he warned me. And I had a pager that I had to hide. Because now, I mean, if he had a pager, but it was work related. He had
what
a
does
pager.
A 12-year-old need a pager?
Yeah, there were $100. $100 for a pager and $20 a month.
Yeah.
He's like, that's what he said. You're not that important. You don't need a pager. It's no way you need a pager. When he finally found out about it, it went off when I was around him and I couldn't. I was like, it's my girlfriend. Well, call her right now. Call her. Ooh. You know what I mean? So that lie got answer. Yeah. I tried to dial her like I was so smart. He was like, "That's not who paged you. You're dealing. You're
if
dealing."
The dude answered.
He's like,
if you covered yourself, would you be willing to tell your dad, "Oh, Dad, I'm gay. I'm sorry."
Back then, oh, my dad is that type of man that if you gay, you getting out.
Oh, shit.
He's not.
He wasn't about it.
To this day, he's not into
so
that.
So that wasn't an option either.
Do what you want to do, but not here. You're not doing that around here. I'm from Mississippi. He's an old schooler. He believes that was an agenda, but that's another whole conversation. But if I would have tried to cover with that, you definitely leaving here. Oh, you're not going to live under this roof and be doing that kind of stuff.
So he knows that wasn't your girlfriend.
Yeah, he knows that wasn't my girlfriend. Now, he's strict. He worked long hours, so he became more strict, like calling home to see if I was home at those hours he told me to be home, because now I have to go to school. I hadn't started cutting classes yet. So he's calling, and if I'm not home, he'll have my brothers who weren't hustling to go outside and get me. Oh, go find them and tell them to call me as soon as he get there. Like,
how much younger are they than you?
3 years.
They were twins?
They're twins, yes.
Oh, okay.
They're twins. So they would come, hey, Dad's on the phone. He said, come get you now. You need to be home in 10 minutes or he'll leave work. So I had to stop what I'm doing, go home. Okay, yeah, I'm here. Where were you? And I was like, oh, I was at Willie's house. I was at this person. Oh, okay. Well, you need to be in by 7. I'm able to stay out till 9 now. Not anymore. You had a pager. I saw someone said you were at the wash house. We have a washer and dryer at home. You don't go to the wash house, period. You know what I mean?
Nothing good's happening.
Nothing's good happening there. He knew that. So he kind of started having an idea. And then one day he woke me out of my sleep. He said, if you bring anything illegal in my house, I will arrest you myself. No warnings. If you bring anything illegal, like anything. So with the firmest look ever that a father can give a son. So I was scared. I even stopped hustling for a man. I'm like, man, I just don't want to go to jail. I don't want to, like, all right, cool. I got like a couple thousand, so I could stop. Like, I might have 2,500 at this time, so I could stop hustling, whatever. I got a couple dollars. I don't want to go to jail because the scariest thing is a person that has never been to jail. So if you've never been to jail, you never want to go. But if you go to jail and you know what jail is all about, you're not as scared about it because you know you can handle it. You know those stories about people being taken advantage of. They probably wanted to do that anyway. No one just walked up to him like, hey, you come on in my room and we're going to do something. If you want to go there and you're going to know everybody there.
You don't think anyone gets like turned out against their will?
Not after a certain year or two. I mean, has it happened before? Probably, but never at any place I've been. I've never saw a person that didn't want that get that. I mean, I just never saw it. And does it happen? I'm sure, but I don't know where. Like, how bad does the place have to be? Like,
pretty goddamn bad.
Yeah, like, okay, I'm thinking a level 4 maximum security prison where the coldest of the coldest killers are housed. You don't normally put a low-level offender with them. In a federal prison, in a USP, where most of the 90% of the people are lifers, you don't necessarily put a person with 3 years with all lifers that has, you know what I mean? They have nothing to lose. So it's easy for them to probably take advantage of a person.
But you're also like, to this point, like when you're thinking this, you're also a kid. So of course you're like terrified of what that would be like. You're a kid.
I'm a kid. Yep. never wanted to go to jail. So I stopped temporarily. I stopped, and then I don't know. My friends like, man, you a punk, man. Look what I made. And they having like big bank rolls. Like these bank rolls, when they filled with 5s, 10s, and 20s, they look like more than they are.
Yeah.
But they're enticing. They look. It made me like, what? Oh yeah, man. We got a new little place too, man. We don't have to stand in front of the liquor store. We on a side street now. This lady that smokes, that uses it, she's letting us do it out of her house now. She has traffic in there all day, nonstop. If you come over there with us, nobody gets to see you, and we can do it outside of their house.
A trap queen, if you will.
A little trap queen. Yeah, I mean, for real, right? I mean, it's real. I'm like, what?
Unless he's like, God damn it.
He's like, how much? I was like, how much she want? He was like, we can give her like $10 each a day. And it's gonna be like $60 if it's 6 of us there, and she'll be happy. And then when we cook it up, we can just give her a piece. Like we can give her a piece. It's good. I'm telling you.
She gets what she wants. You get what you want. There
when
it
I
is.
saw that, the door never stopped opening and closing.
And you're still like 13?
I'm 13. I'm talking about, this is when I said, I'm gonna take this serious. These dudes are hustling for survival. I'm gonna take this serious. I want some money out of this.
A business.
Now, this is not for survival for me. I'm gonna make a business of this. I don't care what y'all say.
Your brothers now are 10 years old, so they're still young. Did they have any inkling of this? Did you talk with them about it at all?
Not yet, but my brother, he was turning 11 playing softball, and he needed a pair of cleats. So he's like, hey, I know you've been hanging out at the liquor store and the wash house, so I need $40 for some cleats. I'm like, no. Go ask mom for it. Go ask dad. Tell them. He's like, I already did. They saying next week, but I need them now. He played actually for MC Hammer's baseball team.
No shit.
MC Hammer had a community softball, t-ball, all levels.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm like, he's like, yeah, I need 40. And I'm like, I'm not giving you shit. He's like,
well, I'll tell.
He's like, come on, man. I need it. And I'm like, all right, here, man, take it. When I handed him $40, oh, so you are dealing. You are dealing.
He two-timed you.
Ooh. He said, you are dealing. Yeah. And I fell right. I'm like, oh, shit. You're going to have to put me on. You're going to have to put me on. You're going to have to put me on. Like, now he's on my head. I'm like, why did
I wouldn't have said
that?
put me on. I would say, you now owe me $10 a week or $20 a week.
Man, but I said,
racket.
no, bro. You good at baseball. You guys get to travel up to Fresno. You travel also, like the big tournament might be in Los Angeles. They get to ride. I'm like, there's no way you can do this. And I'm like, you too young. Because sometimes I get sweated by the older guys still, especially the ones that's fresh out of prison. They don't want the kids out there. When the guys that came out of prison realized we were dealing, they came in tripping like, man, what you doing out here? I want everything you got. So they were taking advantage of the kids by taking all your product and making you start over. Making you start over because they're telling you shouldn't be out there anyway. So I'm like, damn, man. I mean, it happened to some friends around me, but I fortunately was able to get away. Not to say I didn't get robbed at gunpoint at a young age. You know what I mean?
What happened there?
You got to think now a strung out crack addict catch you outside at nighttime, and they come up acting like they want to buy, and they make you go in your bag, and they see you have a nice sized bag. They just pull out a 38 and say, "Give it all to me, man, and don't move. Wait till I leave before you move." So that happens to you out there. They don't want to kill you. They just want the rock.
How old were you the first time you had a gun pulled on you?
14, 13, 14. I was like, it was early.
Did you shit yourself?
I didn't, because I knew kids at that point that have been shot. By this point, I knew people that have been murdered. Like at 14 years old, I knew over 5 people that have been killed in our community, and nothing happened to the person that killed them. So
but I mean, if you get killed, you're dead. So when it gets pulled on you, everyone wonders how they'd react.
I mean, I was nervous as hell. No, I was nervous as hell, scared. But I know the look in a crackhead's eye by now that he just wants to get high. If he shoots me, then the OGs find out you shot and killed a kid over a crack. He may get it from them, not the cops, right? The cops for killing a kid over a crack, the community might take care of you for that. They don't want to see you in jail.
Well, how often did the cops even solve these cases when they happen?
Oh, wow. Oakland still to this day has the lowest rate of murders solved.
Yeah.
Still to this day. So not many.
And so that also, I'm wondering here, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just trying to fill in a blank. You're seeing around you a failure of law enforcement. Not just because you're out there doing whatever you want. You're like, wow, they're really letting this happen. But also because you're seeing the worst of the worst. You are seeing people you know get killed. And as you said earlier, you are walking amongst the killers. The cops aren't doing shit about it. And you go home and your dad's a cop. Did you quantify those two and say, well, he's a cop, like they don't do shit?
Like I said, I told you, he became one of them. He wasn't my hero anymore. So our conversations were far and few. I hardly ever saw him. If he was home, I would leave. I would intentionally try to fall asleep at a friend's house because I knew he had to get up real early and go to work, and I knew he would come back late. So to me, he was just one of them, and I never trusted officers. I didn't trust no police officers because you roll by, and then you're aware of what's going on, you ride by, and you do nothing about it. So when that gun got pulled on me, I gave the shit up with no resistance. So the person just wanted my stuff, and he ran away. However, if it was a real threat, it would have went a little differently. They come, and he'll shoot first. So when a person wants to kill, they shoot first. Like we don't have nothing to talk about. I'll shoot you and then take it. It was just more so like you need to learn how to be a little sharper than this because I asked you for a 20. You pulled your whole bag out in your hand. You're looking down in the bag, grabbing it, not paying attention to me. You look up, the gun is in your face. Give me the shit. I'll walk away. You learned a lesson, youngster. That's really what it was. Now, this shouldn't be normal for a 13-year-old kid.
No.
However, I accepted it. And I had got my own 38 at that point. So now once I get my own 38, I let it be known amongst the community, I'm strapped too. So it could go either way.
Where'd you get your gun?
$100 from another dude I went to junior high school with.
You buy it at school?
His name was Dog. No, we didn't buy it at school, but he told me at school that he had a couple of them from house burglaries. He said, well, you know, I don't like drugs, but I break in houses, man. We kind of go to the richer areas and we break in those houses, and all those houses have guns in them. I bought a 38 for $100. He had them all the time. So you got to think he was making money from burglaries, like VCRs and like jewelry. Like he was a burglar.
Where'd you stash? You stashed that 38 at home?
We went to the back of like one of those housing authority apartments and stuff. It's always like open areas or little cuts. We call them little cuts where you could find a bush, wrap it in the bag, put it under a bush. California, Oakland, it hardly rains.
Hope it's there the next day.
Yeah, hope it's there the next day. And people found mine before. People found my stash before. People found my gun before. I mean, it's just a dark dog eat dog business. It's nothing really good involved in it. So you have to expect the unexpected. I mean, I went over there trying to grab my stuff. It wasn't there.
Well, as we're moving along the timeline, though, so you were 13 in 1989? Mm-hmm. Is that what you said? Okay, so you're getting into the era two, one of my favorite eras, the gangster rap era and everything, which was a lot of it centered in O-Town. Mm-hmm. You know, how much did that play a role in glamorizing what you do? I
mean, we are what we consume, right? Tupac is one of my favorite rappers, favorite people. I looked up to him, and my dad hated him till this day. You can't watch a movie with Tupac at his house. You can't listen to a Tupac song. He said Tupac directly contributed to destroying the youth because the youth, he became a hero to the youth up until he died. So my dad hated him. But to me, I had everything he ever made. I listened to it over and over all day. NWA, Eazy-E, Ice Cube went solo. I listened to America's Nightmare. I listened to him talk about Once Upon a Time in the Projects where people are displaced, people are disadvantaged, welfare, teenage pregnancy. I listened to all of those things that I saw every day. So who did I resonate with? Them or my dad? Them. Ice Cube was like a hero for me. Tupac, like seeing him in Oakland one time, like passing through.
Oh, you saw him
all thugged out and everything like that, man. I mean, man, it was just amazing to just see him physically because he was with Digital Underground first.
Oh yeah.
So they were more
Shock
party.
G,
Shock G. Yeah. So that was the start of it.
I'm Shock G, the one who put the satin on your panties.
Oh yeah.
That could share me.
Straight up. See. Yeah. So with that, I was like fascinated, and I wanted to know more. So that basically did contribute to what we were all becoming because hearing Tupac shot at off-duty police officers and got away with it. Like, look, he's standing up fighting against a system that's trying to continue to oppress us, and he's winning. So we can win too.
He was so many contradictions though too. He was such a man. He was ahead of his time, and I mean, he's my favorite artist of all time. I know everything about the guy. But, you know, I think about it when I think about that era and I think about some of the influences more towards, say, like the hustle culture, I do think a little more about, say, NWA, Snoop Dogg, things like that, because Pac was so all over the place. You're right. He was a challenge to the system, but you're talking about somebody, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, who's one of the smartest people to ever walk this earth. He was a brilliant, brilliant man, incredible artist. And it absolutely, like, if people knew some of the stories that I've heard about him behind the scenes and what he could do and how he could literally, and I mean this literally, shit out music that was brilliant. Like, he was on another level, but he was also this, in a way, he wasn't multiple personalities. He was one personality that encompassed all kinds of personalities. And he had the one side that could be the machismo, almost like, I'm hard, I'm a gangster, whatever dude. And the other side was almost this like flamboyant, softly spoken, soft thought poet, right? And he could be these things at the same time. So it's interesting to hear your dad has that opinion. I guess I understand why, because he's kind of looking at the whole era the same way, but you know, Pac that's not a guy you could ever put in a box.
Nah, but law enforcement could. A person that believes in systems and processes will save you or create a life you deserve. They do, because he was telling us we could be what we wanted to be, do what you want to do, believe in your dreams, follow your dreams. But he also did speak about social injustices.
Oh yeah,
he spoke about
black of the berry, the sweet of the juice.
His mom being on drugs, so him being directly affected by the drug epidemic. Because Pac never sold drugs. He didn't sell drugs.
He did when he was very young. When he was like
10.
In a little bit after that, he was like 14, 15 before he moved out west.
Okay,
when
so
he
it was out on the East Coast. Okay.
Well, no. He was in Baltimore with Jada, and then he moved out to Marin County.
Oh,
and
in
he
the jungle.
Slung it there. His mom became heavily addicted to drugs.
Okay.
They had nothing at home, and he had to support his sister.
Oh yeah.
And so he slung that.
I do remember
that.
He
got in with
I remember
Digital
that story.
Underground.
Okay. Then Digital Underground took him away from that, and he started traveling. Okay, but my thing about it was he still was telling people that, you know, whatever dream you have, you can achieve it. Because like I said, I had every album, like from the Strictly for My to Trapped. Tupacalypse Now. I had that. I listened to it religiously, and my pop's just like, this is what's influencing my children instead of me. I don't want it in my house.
I understand that.
Too short. Oh, the disrespect for women. He said, oh, hell no. He calls every woman a bitch. You're not going to be around here listening to that. Your mother is here. If I ever hear you using that language around here, you're out. Like, that was his biggest threat. You want to go live with your aunties? Like, they lived in disadvantaged neighborhoods. Some of my aunts did. So that was a threat. Like, hell no, we got heat and hot water over here. We got our own beds. Like, over at my auntie's house, you might have 8 kids sharing one room. At least 6. Let me say 6 kids sharing a room at one of my auntie's house. So he's threatened, they'll take you over there. You could be over there too, or you could be here, your own room, your own video game, your own bike. Like, all those.
Again, a good home.
All those kids shared a bike. We all had our own bikes. My brothers and I, we had our own bikes, skateboards, scooters, anything that came out, every gaming console that came out. So, I mean, he did what he could to support us. It was just my rebellion that caused that divide.
I'm trying to put myself there though too, because you're at that age, like you know, I was a 13-year-old kid, right, in different circumstances, I guess, but with everything our parents say, we want to do the opposite, right? And your parents not only have like a good background, your dad is literally a cop, but he's still like, he works every day, and there's just enough space between you two that you could go act on these rebellions. You know what I mean? And so that compounds. And that's clearly what, I'm just listening to your timeline here, that's clearly what happened, no?
That's clearly what happened. So my dad, okay, so they says, do as I do, don't do as I say. I looked at it like he should have taught me what to do, and which would allow me to not listen to outside influences that weren't my father. So excuse me. We had a house. He was a homeowner from 1970. I was born. He was a homeowner in the 70s. Most people were renting houses or apartments on low income. He decided for him and my mother that wouldn't work. So He was a homeowner. I should have known, okay, I want to build up and do anything it's going to take to be a homeowner, which means work hard, endless hours. I mean, have weekends off, but maybe want to work overtime for extra money.
Sure.
Don't allow like parties, kickbacks, people in the house, no cigarettes, no liquor. My mom and dad, they don't drink. They were church people. We never had a party at our house. We never had a kickback. He never had his friends over sitting there drinking booze, watching sports. We did that as a family. We ate dinner together. We all ate dinner as a family until we start rebelling. But that was the thing. Finish your food from the table. Excuse yourself from the table. So we actually knew what was going on. However, when I go over my auntie's house and I go over my friend's house, you get to eat in front of the TV. You can go eat and stand up at the counter and eat your food. That wasn't allowed at our house. We could go over there like they smoked weed in the house. They actually could light up a joint in their house.
Yeah,
they
totally
can drink liquor in front of their moms. Their older brothers were drinking 40 ounces of beer. My father called that scum of the community because it makes all of us look bad.
Hey guys, if you have a second, please be sure to share this episode around on social media and with your friends, whether it's Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, doesn't matter. It's all a huge help. It gets new eyeballs on the show, and it allows us to grow and survive. So thank you to all of you who have already been doing that, and thank you to all of you who are going to do so now.
You know what I mean? But he didn't actually tell me, well, he did say, okay, if you want to be like those people right there, go do what they do. Look at them. They winos, they drunk, they look like they barely making it. You know what I'm saying? They don't have much. Look how we live compared to what they live. But I don't think that was a lesson enough to teach me that college is going to save my life. If I go to school, get good grades, finish high school, go to college, then I'll be just like you. Because at the time he was doing well, but not like he is now.
Yeah.
I mean, we never struggled, no public assistance, none of that. But I mean, is this really a way of life? I'm thinking it has to be an express way to success. I'm thinking that at that young age, I'm already seeing like a 16-year-old kid has a car and he's paying his own bills and he's doing everything on his own. I want that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it's crazy that you are. Well, it's not like as a kid you can think that you can get the things that other people may do by working hard. As they get older, you think you can get them faster because you see that and you want to have that, even though, maybe they're 20, 30 years older than you, right? And so if you see that path that can get you there, you might take it. And that's obviously what you did.
I mean, you could like with the wolves, you can't let the impalas. I mean, the wolves. What do they like to eat? They like to eat rabbits and small animals, whatever they can catch. Right? You can't keep letting those walk by wolves, those rabbits and those little muskets and squirrels or whatever they eat. They can't keep walking by a wolf before the wolf is gonna go after it and eat it. So you showing me things that I desire, but telling me I can't have it. Oh yeah, you can see it. Just look at it though. Don't look at it. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Oh, this guy right here, he's 3 years. He's 3 years older than you, and he has $30,000 already. No, you can't say that. And then you go to a friend's house, and their older brother has a Nike shoebox filled with 20s and 50s. And like, wait, 10, 20, 30. That might be about $30,000. And he buys new shoes twice a week, 3 times a week. And then after he don't like them no more, he'll give them to the younger kids. Like, here, you guys take them and wear them. You know what I mean? I'm going to go buy some more. So to me, that was a definition of doing well, I guess.
When did you first get in trouble? When did it start to chickens come home to roost?
I think I was 14, man. 14. I was slipping. I was oh wait, yeah. First time I got in trouble is 7th grade. I was 13. One of my friends got beat up at school. After school, at the bus stop, he got beat up by a kid a couple years older than him. And he came to my house and asked me for a gun. I had a 38 at the time. He came to my house. He's like, "Hey man, that guy punched me in the face over at the bus stop. I need a gun." I'm like, nah, you don't need a gun. I'm like, "What you gonna do?" I'm gonna shoot him, man. He punched me in the face. Look at my eye. He blacked my eye, man. All because we was joking around and it went bad, man. Let me borrow your gun. I'm like, nah. So he's like, "Ain't I your boy? You trust me, right? You trust me?" I end up giving it to him. Like, "Here, take it, man. I don't care, whatever." So in my mind,
him the gun.
I gave him a 38. I gave him one of my 38. At 38, my only one actually. So what happened? We go to school like He don't even do nothing because he has a black eye. He didn't even come to school until his eye went down. But when he came back, I didn't really think much of it because, of course, by then I've known people that got shot. I've heard about people get shot. It wasn't a big deal.
What's another one?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal no more, which is like a 13-year-old kid should be totally
You're desensitized.
petrified about
Yeah.
a kid getting shot. Because this kid that punched him was, if we were 12, 13, this kid was 15, 16 that punched him in the face.
Oh, he's a little older.
So, yeah,
Picking
because,
on him.
nah, this dude was a class clown, kind of taunting that guy's girlfriend and pushing her around.
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
dude just did that in protection of his girlfriend, whatever. So we at school, and the campus supervisors come and get me out of 5th period and ask me to come to the office. I'm like, not paying attention to them because what would you want with me in the office? It's like Spanish class. Like, I don't. And I get there, he's sitting there and the gun is on the desk. So he had went around telling people what he was going to do after school at the bus stop. And somebody told the campus supervisor. So they stopped him, got the gun from his backpack. He gets to the office.
You imagine this today?
And pictured me. Yeah, oh, this is terrible. He got to the office and told them he came to my house 3 days before and I gave him the gun. So we both went to jail for that. We got arrested at junior high school and I got expelled from school for that.
Whoa.
Yes, that was my first time going to
Do you get like a felony charge for that?
Whoa, what happened was it was kind of his word against mine. I went to
they can
court for
prove it
that.
was
They
your
was like,
gun.
he might have came there and took that. I got out of jail.
Who's to say it's your gun?
Expelled from school. And I got a truancy program. Like, they came to my house twice a week. Couldn't go back to that school. Continuation until the next school year when I went to a charter school. And I got off by the grace of God on that. But I was in jail for about 4 or 5 days.
What did your dad say to this?
Oh, he couldn't believe it. When they called him at work to come to my junior high school because I gave another student a gun, he told them they were lying. This couldn't happen. Not my son. Like, they like, no, you need to come now. We have the gun. So he, rushed from the city he worked in over to Oakland, a junior high school, and he walked in there and saw the gun on my desk. He could have passed out on the principal's desk. And he asked me, did you give this student a gun? And I just wouldn't say nothing. I just didn't say nothing. And the kids looking at me like, tell him the truth. I already told him everything.
What's the Miranda
anything.
rights? Anything you can say will be used against you?
I just didn't say shit. I never signed a statement. I never did anything. So he ended up getting caught with the gun. So he got the felony. I didn't.
Oh, he got a felony.
He got a felony. I didn't. It's like you saying this. Like, we can't really prove he did or not.
But you spent 4 or 5 days in jail.
I mean, it was a weapon involved.
Yeah.
And they asked my parents, like, you guys have guns laying around. How could this guy have access to a gun? It was a big deal. Oh, we know you're an officer, so do you leave are your weapons secure? We might need to go check. Like, it was a big deal.
Who picked you up from jail?
My dad.
What was that like?
The most silence I ever heard. Like, nothing. It was just silence. It was just silence. I don't know if he didn't know where to start. I definitely didn't. I think he probably commended me for not incriminating myself. I mean, because I never admitted giving that kid that gun. He said, tell him everything. I already told him.
That's my boy.
No, he said, I already told him everything. Didn't you give it to me? I'm like, I just sat there. But it shouldn't have happened because even if he was going to go shoot that kid that I knew, I didn't even care. I didn't even think twice about it at that age. That he could have actually killed that kid over punching him, and I would have contributed to it, but I don't think I would have missed any sleep. I wouldn't have missed any sleep about it either.
Because you're desensitized to
already,
it.
man. I mean, at this point, I saw police beat up people. I know murderers are walking amongst us, and they're not going to jail at all. Mothers are living off $400 a month with 2 kids. Now, we can definitely look at them and what they're not doing, but the government, local or national, decided that $400 would feed a family of 3. But after they run out of that, middle of the month, they're done. They don't have anything. Now, the corner markets, thankfully, gave local people credit. So they knew you were, government assistance. They might give you a $40 credit where you can get some hot dogs, some ground beef, some bread, onions, tomatoes, something to make spaghetti with, right? Because they know you're not going anywhere. You're almost confined to your community. Is that like a mini prison or what? Is that? I mean, you're stuck
In
to
some
your,
ways.
In some ways, like you're not going over to the Andronicos.
To the what?
Andronicos is an upscale market. You're not going to a Andronicos where they have fresh meat and these meat brought in every day. They got halibut and sea bass. No, you come here where we got hot dogs, hot link, chicken thighs, chicken wings. We got some stuff that'll hurt you later, but
shitty food.
You're gonna be full. You'll be full though. So he'll front people. He'll front people like $40. So was that by design or not? I wonder if that by design.
That feels very much.
I mean,
by
I'm just saying though. We go San Leandro, San Ramon, Danville, and the meat market smells different. I'm talking about you walk in these meat markets. It's no dust, no dirt, nothing anywhere, no flies. It's no fly. You walk in our meat market that's 3 blocks from our house. It stinks like they slaughtering the cows in the back.
Separation by taxation.
I'm just saying though. So they front them $40 to make it through the month, but they don't have a choice. Cause where else is the money gonna come from? It's not no payday loans back then. I don't remember payday loans back then. So I'm like, nobody cares about this community at all. Why should I? If I don't do it, somebody else will. I mean, that's it. I could either take advantage of this or I could just be a victim of it and complain like everybody else. I had choices now.
After the silent drive, did you have a talk with your dad about this?
He asked me, did I want to end up in jail like some of my older cousins, one in particular. He's deceased now. He said, do you want to end up in jail like him? You know how many times he's been to San Quentin? They know him by name. Every time he comes off the bus, he's back and forth there. You know he can't get a job. You know he's never going to be nothing. Do you want to be like that? You need to straighten up right now or you will end up like your older cousin. I mean, when you were young, he was a hell of a guy, but look at him now. And I think he's using crack. Therefore,
it's right on cue, by the way. The cops outside. But sorry, continue.
Therefore, if you want to end up like him, keep doing this dumb stuff that you're doing, man, and you will end up like him, man. Other than that, tighten up. Stop. I couldn't associate with that kid anymore, of course.
Yeah.
He snitched me out in front of everybody. He asked, where the hell did that gun come from? How are you having a gun at this age? And I'm like, Dad, I'm like, $80, $100 in the hood. Like, come on, man. Like, I can get another one today. He was sick. He talked to my mom. I heard them arguing. He told her she's not keeping much of an eye on me while he's at work. She told him he works too many hours. They're boys. I can't control them.
What did your mom do again?
My mom ended up opening the janitorial service.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm. She worked at a bank. Okay, so she worked at a bank,
Yep.
and it was an accident in her job where someone threw some keys across the bank and it hit her in the head. It was Crocker Bank. Never forget that. She got lightheaded, blacked out, and she took a leave of absence, which led to a miniature lawsuit, and she never went back to work for anybody. From there, she opened a daycare center, and then she started a janitorial service. Daycare center was about 2 years. Janitorial service went on until currently, like my brother and one of my cousins took it over.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, started it, was, getting contracts, and
so she was busy.
She was busy. She was busy, and then she never went back to work for anybody. I don't want to say the settlement was more than about $15K, which back then was a lot of money. $15K in the early 80s.
Yeah,
and
that's something.
So she was an entrepreneur. She didn't work for anybody else after that. It was her own business. But my pops worked, and that was considered a government job, right?
Yeah.
So he brought home that bacon with the extra overtime hours.
So you get expelled from school when this happens. You get out of jail because you didn't incriminate yourself. Your dad is freaking out, doesn't think your mom is watching you. They're worried about you going the wrong way. You're 14 years old, right?
At this point.
So I think you said this earlier, you ended up in a charter school or something? So they sent you to some sort of...
Yeah.
You were able to get in there?
For money. It was a $600-700 a month ticket on it. One school year though. One school year. Because other than that, a continuation school is worse than a public school. Public schools are pretty bad. Now you go to a continuation school where none of the teachers want to be there.
Right.
Now the education, take this packet, go fill it out, turn it in.
Get the fuck out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
So my dad was like, nah, that's not going to work. You still have to get a good education. Went to the charter school, did well. I'm talking about A's and B's. It's no cutting school here. It's nowhere to go. You're going to class. It's
you
like,
ride a bus there every day?
200 students. No, I had to get dropped off there every day. Even worse.
So parents have to drive. Yeah.
Getting dropped off there. So now, what does this make me look like in the neighborhood? A buster. What? You going to that school over there? That's with a uniform and it's a paid school? oh, we really don't want you around us. We don't want you around us, man. You ain't cool. You're not one of us. You pay to go to school. So I'm being made to look like a culprit for having parents that are doing well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who pays $400 to $600 for a school?
Someone
we go
who
to
has
public
some money.
school
Yeah.
and we get free lunch.
Yeah.
It's not even $600 coming into our house at all.
And that's got to hurt. There's something about that that's, you know, it's got to awaken some sort of pride in you in a fucked up way, because you're like, oh, fuck that. Like, you think I don't belong? I belong here.
Man, I found myself trying to prove to them that I was still one of the guys. Like, come on, man. Look, man, you know I don't want to go there. I hate that school, but the girls are better. Won't y'all come up there and meet some of these girls? Because I can't, right? I'm trying to make it where they're like, oh, yeah, because those girls do come from better home. Yeah, you're right. So that was a little way to kind of gain favor amongst my peers, because they wasn't messing with me. They was like, nah, man, you on some, we don't even know if we can trust you, man. Like, and your dad, you know what I mean? Your dad is, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, but you know I'm not with that. I'm not with that at all. You know me, man. Come on, man. We did stuff together. All right, yeah, you're right. But that was just one school year of that, and I couldn't wait. And by high school, I was back.
Oh, because you were kicked out of the middle school. Oh, so
I went to the school board.
And then you come back.
Went to the school board. They couldn't prove I gave that kid a gun. That kid got caught with that gun. That's just what he said. It didn't happen on school premises.
If the gloves don't fit, you must have quit.
Who else saw you give this gun to this kid? Nobody. That's just what he said. You know? So I went back to
your dad's pumped he's not paying every month now for school.
Oh, yeah, because I got two younger brothers, man. And that money needs to go back towards the house.
Sure.
That money needs to go back towards the house. So now
do you go back to the neighborhood?
Back in the neighborhood full-fledged now, because all the guys at that school, they were ahead of me. That 1 year at charter school set me far back.
Oh, on the pecking order.
Yes, because at 14 in the ninth grade, because it was junior high, then high school. Now it's middle school, right? 6th, 7th, and 8th. Then it was 7th, 8th, and 9th. So by the time I got to the ninth grade at this Castlemont High, these dudes were driving Cutlass Supremes, Caprice Classics, Acura Legends, Sterlings. They're a part of the crew of the 17-year-old Millionaire. They're part of his team.
And now you want a piece of that.
So looking at a guy, like, I cut class then, so we go to the dice game. It's $5,000 to be won or lost in a dice game for high school students. Now, since I'm charter school, not hustling under close monitoring from my parents, I'm almost like, I'm not really having money at this time. I want back in. I don't care. I want back in. I'm ready to run away. I'm ready to do whatever it takes to get back in this.
And your brothers have still stayed straight this time?
Nah, one did. One that I ended up kind of putting him in it. He did it with caution because he couldn't let my parents find out.
That's wild, though, that they were twins and only one of them got involved.
Yeah, the other one was just didn't like the idea of, like, you could see what it's doing. Now, as you said earlier, when you asked about people looking like junkies, now people are looking like junkies.
Yeah.
It's not looking like a rich person's drug no more. It's looking like they
it's
scratching, they're dirty, they're stinky. It's looking like Menace to Society, snatch it and run type of thing, get beat down. Excuse me. It's looking like that now, because this is 91, 92. So this story told in that movie was pretty on point.
Oh, yeah.
Like
it's a great movie.
I'd do anything for a hit. Like women doing sexual favors for crack, guys like selling anything they have, anything for just a hit. Take this gold chain. Take this, man. Use my car for a week, man. Just give me one hit. Knowing damn well that one hit not going to do nothing for you. You're going to need another one in 30 minutes. Yep. You're going to need another one. So this is about the time I was full-fledged. It was too late. Nobody could bring me back. I realized that
even after a year away from it.
It's just
temptation. Sucked you right in. Yeah.
Temptation is the worst. It's one of the worst things. Like, again, like you better off never giving a bear honey. Just don't let them try it ever. They'll never know what it is. If you give it to them and tell them they can't have it, they might go crazy, become violent, aggressive.
Did you have any friends at that charter school?
I did have a few friends there because
they're not involved in this stuff.
A couple of them did. Like one dude, I remember he ended up there for getting caught with weed at a junior high school. So he got expelled because weed was terrible, horrible back then. And he ended up there, but I knew him, and he ended up going crazy. Like far as he started balling though. He was from a different neighborhood where they were more welcoming to let him do what he wanted because his older brothers and cousins were directly involved. He started balling like, and all that means is having money, having a car, $10,000-$20,000 at a young age, able to do what you want, no struggling, and you were able to help people. That's all that really meant. But he was ahead of me, and then he got out of that charter school 1 year too. He got right out of there.
So you go back, and now you want back in. You get back out on the street. You start dealing.
Full-fledged.
And you're making a lot. You're older now. I would imagine you're dealing a lot more. You're making a lot more money.
A lot more money at this time.
And your dad didn't have any inkling that you were doing this.
Things start falling apart because now he's still working more hours. My mom is gone all the time. I get up to buying ounces. So once I'm buying ounces, 1 ounce, 2 ounce, I'm able to make my system where it's $300 to $500 profit a day. For a 14-year-old kid, right? So by 14, I'm making $300 to $500 profit a day for sure. And I couldn't hide it at this point. So one night I come in, he's like, I want your pager. I want your pager and all the money in your pocket. You're gonna have a curfew now. It's 6 o'clock, or you have to leave today. So what ended up happening was he like put me on the spot, like give it all up now or go. I chose to go, so I left home. And
You're 15?
Nah, I'm not 15 yet. I'm still 14.
You're still 14.
I'm still 14 years old. I left home to go live with a friend.
So he gave you a choice. It wasn't like you were kicked out. He gave you a choice and you said, I'm out of here.
Give me everything. Stop the dealing today. But by now, I was having almost $10,000. I had my own money at this point. It got so like, think about it, $500 a day. It don't take long if you putting it up, if you stacking it up, just shoebox. Money. It don't take long. So he said, I want everything you got from this and your pager, and you're done today. You're gonna be in the house on time. We're gonna start looking for a new house. It's over. It's over for you, or you got to leave now. So my mom's arguing and pleading with him to let me stay. He's telling her, no, stay out of this. He has to go now.
Did you ever have a separate talk with your mom about any of this?
My mom just followed my dad's lead, and she like, you guys know right from wrong, so it's no excuse and there's no reason. Like, she's one of those like no nonsense women, but then she didn't want me to go out in the streets because she knew I would only end up in a worse predicament.
Right, you're 14.
Exactly. So
my God.
From there, I went to go sleep at like those $18, $20 a night motels.
Oh.
Yeah, they're prostituting and dealing drugs out of there all day, every day. And then I found a friend's house who his mom let me stay over there for $200 a month, but I couldn't get a key.
Wait. The mom was charging you $200 to stay there?
They live in low income. $200 a month.
She's like, he can stay here.
First of all,
why, did she ask why you had to stay there?
She didn't even care. She didn't even care. You don't get a key. The door's mainly unlocked. Being at a good enough hour. Sleep in his room. That's it.
Wow.
So I can't live there. I mean, it didn't last long, but still, I had a place to stay where I wasn't sleeping in the streets.
You cutting school?
I'm cutting school now. I'm not living at home.
Doesn't that send a truant officer? Yeah.
It does, but they said I was a runaway. My parents had to label me a runaway or they would get in trouble. So now, if I run into a cop, I'm probably going to go to juvenile hall.
But had he reported that? Had your dad reported you?
The school did. The school did.
No, but had your dad reported you as a runaway before he claimed that?
He did. No, my mom did that because she saw me out in front of a liquor store hustling. And she's like, get in the car and come home. And I wouldn't. So she reported me as a runaway. Because if not, what happens is they're liable for anything I do.
That's messy.
It got bad.
It's very messy.
But all I saw was the money. All I saw was money. All I saw was...
How much are you making during this
time?
Right
now, like I said, you can make $1,000, $1,500 in a day gross, which is $300 to $400 profit. I mean, the way we were doing it is like $400, $500 on a great day profit.
Where were you selling mostly?
Where?
Like where? Did you have like a main... Did you have a corner? Did you have
no. We had either in between a house, a crack house, rock house, everything's going on there. Or it's like one liquor store where it seemed like all the crackheads came to. Giants Liquor. Oh my God, they're gonna come there. If you stand by there or near
If you
there,
build it, they'll come.
They will come. You got anything? You got anything? They don't care who they buy it from. They don't even care who they buy it from.
You just stand outside the place and they'll buy it from you.
Stand outside from. I mean, they're gonna know it because what you standing here for. It's nothing good going on here.
Yeah.
This is just not a place you want to. No. So right there, and between there and then we had a house that we can go in. So and then I had a pager. So my pager start doing enough money where I can just kind of drop off in the 5, 10 block, 7 block radius on a bike, ride around, drop off, pick up, drive. This was too easy, man. I don't know. Any kid that wanted to get involved could get involved, man. It just don't make sense that it was that simple to get involved in that kind of stuff.
How long was it smooth sailing? Like how many years?
Nah, I got caught with some stuff within a year. I got caught hiding my second time juvenile hall. A neighbor called the police on me because he saw me hiding drugs in the back of an abandoned house. And he called the cops, and as I was going back there to get the drugs, they were already back there looking for it. So they grabbed me. They was like, "Oh, we got a report that you hiding drugs back here," and they knew right the area where I was hiding it at. So they grabbed me, cuffed me up, found the drugs. I got arrested for possession right then and there. So now,
and what did you get? Like a felony? How much was it?
Then I got a felony. That was about almost 2 ounces.
Whoa!
Almost 2 ounces of cooked, processed. So
that
got me. That got me. Well, that's enough to get you sent to youth authority. That because it was a law related to 1 ounce of this is equivalent to 3 kilos of that.
Yeah.
So that whatever I had was due to get me like 3 years. But I hired a lawyer and went through the changes, went through all the stuff, and I ended up getting like a boys' home. I ended up getting a boys' home instead of prison.
What was that like?
It was terrible. They just put you with a bunch of wayward boys that are terrible. They love to fight. They love to do other mischievous stuff. It didn't help me at all. It didn't help me.
How long were you in
Only
there?
requirement was to go to school. A year. I went in there for a year.
So they'd let you leave for school and then they'd pick you up from there?
Pick you up on time. You couldn't leave the house, but we would sneak out anyway, and we threatened the staff, and I'll have somebody come here and do something to you. You better shut up. I'm from Oakland. You don't know me.
Shit.
You don't know me. I'm from Oakland, man. You better shut up. Like, you scared the staff there. They just want to do their job. You know what I mean?
Were you still able to deal during this time?
Hell no, because I couldn't leave.
Well, you just said sometimes you could leave.
And yeah, but I had money though. I had money from dealing. I had money from dealing. I was doing cool, but
how did you keep the money? Like, where'd you keep it?
So at that point, a shoebox and that kind of money, easily compactable. You go hide it somewhere. Gave it to somebody I trusted, really, really, really trusted, that I knew had money too. They wouldn't even look at my little stash and shit, because who do you trust? Somebody that got way more money than you. Yep. Yeah. I trusted another cat. Like, hey, bro. I mean, whatever. So I was doing good enough to not have to deal until that was over with. You know what I mean? Then we went back to court for an evaluation. I got released from there. Right back in it again, though. Right back.
What are you, 16, 17 now?
Now I'm about 16 now, but this is when I just start selling weed. I was like, you know what?
You left the crack game.
Uh-huh.
What drew you to weed?
Who?
What drew you to weed at that time?
Oh, because at that time, weed was different strands of weed became more popular. So and then the Chronic album changed everything.
God, I wish we could play that right now.
Man, everybody wanted to smoke weed. So now when I'm out of the boys' home, the weed game is like, wait a minute,
smoke weed,
like everybody that hustle smokes weed, and then the people who don't hustle, they come from all other towns surrounding Oakland to come buy weed. So now my cousin and they're doing it. I'm like, oh shit, I want in. They like, come on, let's go. Pounds were pretty high, but
where were you getting it from?
My older cousins.
Yeah, but where were they getting it from?
Oh, Humboldt County, the mountains. They had plugs out like Mendocino. Just white boy growers. The white guys grew the best weed. So you befriend them, they start trusting you. They'll meet you halfway, or you could drive up there, 1 or 2 people, and bring it back down, multiple pounds, and then it was about strands. Had to be chronic, green, light green, sticky, icky, whatever. Because I used to smoke it too. So I made sure if it was good enough for me to smoke, I knew I could sell it fast. And man, that shit turned me up. Man, that shit turned me up. I was having $50,000 before I knew it. Like out of that boys' home, I ended up making so much money, man. I bought a Grand National, an old school Chevy. I bought like
Where you living?
At this time, okay, so let me rewind a little bit.
Like after the boys' home.
So what ended up happening is this was the final straw between me and my dad. I don't know how I skipped over this. So the final straw between my dad and I was hustling every day, doing my thing, and I told one of my friends, so called, that I came up. I was like, yo, bro, I'm good now. I got a couple workers. I've been getting like 9 ounces at a time, breaking it down, man, selling it, bubbling up. He like, what? I can only afford like 1 or 2. You got how many? I was like, I got 9 of them. He's like, you been stacking up your money? I'm like, yeah, man, I got like 20,000 almost. I'm going towards 30 if I include my count money, my cop money. And I told him that. He went and told other guys in the neighborhood about what I told him,
9.
that I was getting a 9, which is for a kid, that's a lot of cocaine.
Fuck yeah.
That's a lot of cocaine for a kid. 250 grams, basically. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, 250 grams.
That'll do.
That'll do it. So one night I was on my way home. No, one night these dudes, they was like, hey, we saw the police sitting down the street and they're watching, man. Like, come on, let's just get out of here for the night, man. Nobody goes to jail. So I'm like, you right. So I go on my bike about like 5 blocks away from where we hustling at, and it's a guy standing across the street from my house, and he's like, hey, he asked me, did I know where address is at? And I'm like, nah, I don't know where no address is at, but now I'm trying to hurry up and get in my gate. So as I get in my gate, it's another guy behind the gate already with a gun. He slaps me over the head. Oh. Now I'm in the middle of a home invasion. So they bring me in the house, and the first thing they ask for is the 9 ounces and 20,000. So it's like, what the hell? He told somebody what I told him. So they were in there invading. They was ramshacking my room. They were looking for it. It was just.
You were living back at home.
I was living back at home because
now, how did that happen?
Because I told my dad that I would give it up. I told my dad that I wanted to act. Yeah, I told my dad that I would act right. I told him that everything would. I'm telling him that I'm gonna be a better son to him. And I was just lying because I knew my house was more comfortable than living from pillar to post. So home invasion. My mom is home. My little brother, my younger brothers are home. So after that, it just went bad, man. The cops came. They ran away. It was a chase. Helicopter involved. They called
helicopters get involved.
Man,
with the guys.
It was on the news and everything. So what happened was,
oh my God,
my dad came home. I had to go to the hospital because of that gun in my head. It like split my head open that wide. I had to get staples and all of this and wear this dumb looking crown thing for a while. So my dad was done with me. He was like, you're not welcome in my house ever again. You endanger my family. You told me you was gonna give that up. It's over. Just go wherever you're gonna go. You're done. Like, you're done. You can't come back here no more. He sold the house in Oakland and they moved to the suburbs. That was it. Like that week, the house was on the market, sold within a month. They were out of there. He never went. Yeah, he was gone.
How old are you?
I'm 14 going on 15. No, I'm about 15. I'm about 15.
This is before the boys' home.
About 15. Yep.
So where are you at after the boy? All right, because we skipped around there. So after you leave the boys' home, you've already had a complete fallout, like twice, with your dad and family. Where'd you go? Where'd you live while you were dealing weed?
Oh, I just lived in Oakland. At that point, I was getting so much money. Apartments was $600 a month. I just met a girl that was 18 years old, and she put an apartment in her name for me. Yeah, I had my own apartment after that. When I knew I couldn't go back home and it was over, and I'm gonna have to do whatever I had to do. So I met this girl. She was a little older, and I was talking to her, and we was cool, and we
that's how it starts.
huggy, Philly, or whatever we was doing. We was huggy, and I got my own apartment, man, and $600 a month. That's cheap for a 2-bedroom.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good.
What year is this?
95.
Like 90, yeah,
95.
Yeah, I'm trying to put 94, that
about 94, 95, because it was right there. We walked 1 block to a liquor store, and that's where we sold weed at. The apartment we got was 1 block away.
Store.
I mean, in the black community,
yeah,
I don't know if they think that's what we need the most of, or what. Is that what we need?
Interesting.
Urban communities, period. Because I'm just say wherever it's low income, they believe people probably are more depressed. They'll drink more liquor.
They put more of them. You're right.
Therefore, It was the pink store. I'd never forget, man. I live 1 block away from there in this apartment complex, man. All I had to do is put on my backpack, go right down there by that store, and we could sell as much weed as you could have. Like, nobody had enough.
And when was this up? When did this go wrong?
This didn't go wrong for years. I did that from... Damn, we stopped selling weed about... Okay, 97. 97, I stopped selling.
So several years?
Several years, yeah.
What made you stop?
We'll stop with that. I served the undercover.
That'll do it.
And I went to the adult jail for the first time.
What jail?
Santa Rita. It's an adult jail that
No,
you have to
that's an
bail out
experience.
for. I sold to an undercover officer $50 worth of weed, and
That's not that
I
much.
got probation for that though.
Yeah, it's not that much.
I know, but it's possession for sales is the bad part about it.
Yeah.
And that's part of why they went back now in the city of Oakland. And if you ever got a felony for weed and weed-related crimes, they kind of take that off your record and then offers you a lottery where you can get in and try to get a legal license to sell legally. They had like a lottery system after that because since weed became so legalized and so accepted and so many people were arrested and got felonies for that, they did go back and allow you to get a marijuana felony off your record. That's what they did in Alameda County. Okay. In Alameda County. I don't know about other counties.
But you sell this guy, and then after you go through that, you get probation and all that. You don't.
Nah,
stop selling weed.
I tried to straighten up my act because now adult jail is serious. Now that's an actual felony on my adult record. Which when I did.
Oh, so you did get a felony for that?
I got a felony for that. Possession for sales is why. So they don't care about possession. You were using it, but if you sold it for profit, then they care. That's something that we can't tax. And you know, what if you give somebody bad? I don't even know why, but it has to be something. Sure. So
it's drug dealing.
I was on probation for that. 3-year felony probation, actually. So I kind of tried to straighten up, and this is around the time my first daughter was about to be born. So I didn't want to be like, I'm like, man, okay.
Did you have a plan, like what you wanted to do with your life?
Not
like,
really,
totally
but mind you, I had a cool savings. I've been always a good saver enough where I wasn't necessarily struggling. I was like, now if I don't do something fast, I'll spend all the money. But the plan is always, so for a drug dealer, I want a kilo. Once I get a kilo, I'm good. I'm straight. I'm going to be able to make 50, 70, 100K and I'm done, right? That'll never happen. It never happens. With the weed game, I'm like, well, I'm selling so much weed. I got my cars. I got money. I got a little bit of jury. Again, 100K, 150K, I'm going to be all right. I can go do anything that I want. That's the thought process, right? But it just never works because every time you reach that goal, you just move the goalpost. You just move it a little further. Okay, well, I can do 250. I can do 300. So once my daughter, she's my girl at the time told me she was pregnant. I was scared as ever. Like, oh my God, I'm not ready to be a father. I'm a drug dealer. I'm like 18. She was when I was 19. Is when 18. So she 18 going on 19 because
young.
Because how do I know this is because 18, I was about to be 19. I was like, I don't want to be in jail. I don't want to be in jail when my baby is born. And then even though I don't know anything about being a father, I just don't want to be absent. You know,
sure.
I see what single parent homes do to kids. I'm like, all right, I quit. I'm cool. It just didn't last that long though, because now living off the money I had, spending it rapidly, trying to get ready for being a father, that took the money down substantially.
Yeah.
It took the money down.
And you're not working
and
at
I'm
all.
not working. No, I'm just spending. Well, no, what? I take that back. What I start doing is some telemarketing for some company called Excel. Something like that. I did try.
That just sounds like a boiler room.
Yeah, but it wasn't lucrative at all.
Yeah.
I was like, they talk to you crazy. You got to make these calls. You have to try to recruit. Like, it wasn't for me.
The margins in the drug game are pretty good, man.
My this is crazy. Oh, I went and worked at a warehouse for like 4 months, man. It was a Walgreens distribution center warehouse because I'm like, wow, wait, I'm down, counting the money, and the shoebox looking thin now. The shoebox starting to look. I can see the bottom of it. I'm like, oh wait, this shit ain't making no sense. My shit was full, right? And what happened is what happened? How'd it go? Oh, I asked the boss for a raise because the baby was born. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to need a raise, man. I wouldn't mind staying here, but I know all positions. Just give me a raise. And shit. He was like, okay, I'll give you a raise, 25 cents an hour. And hey, I'm going to boost your pay up extra 25 cents, man. You're going to, pretty soon you'll be manager. In 2 or 3 years, you'll be manager. I was like, man, I'm never coming back here. I'm off. I said, tomorrow and the next day I'm off. I'm never coming back. He's like, you'll be back. Ha, ha, ha. What you gonna do? You just had a kid. He laughed in my face when I told him I wasn't coming back. He laughed in my face. Mr. Martin, older black dude, laughed in my face that I didn't have another choice but to come back to work and accept that quarter an hour raise. I went back outside. My cousins, my brother now, my younger brother, my cousin, they full-fledged and they get money. I'm talking about they full-fledged. They just switch drugs again.
So one of the two twins goes that way.
He's full-fledged. I run up on him.
Is he in your parents' house anymore?
He's living with a girlfriend. He's 16. He's 3 years young. He's about 16. So he's living with an 18-year-old girl. Like, go get an older girlfriend and
you get an apartment.
And he's just living in there with her. She had a kid. He pulls out a bankroll. I'm like, damn, bro, what's going on? He said, just come outside with me. You will see. He didn't want to explain it to me. I go out there. It's booming. We back from weed, back to the hard shit. We back to the
crack.
Back to the crack. Yeah, we back on it again.
Late 90s now.
Now, late 90s. But it's booming. I'm talking about, I'm like, where's this surge of money coming from? Like, what the hell is going on? Didn't even care. I was back in the game that quick, back hustling every single day. That's all I did. Wasn't looking for no job. I wasn't looking for no way out. I didn't even care, man. I mean, again, mind you, I feel like I've been through enough leading up to this where I have a child now. I just need to make money. It was only money motivated now. I didn't even care about helping people. Just let me get my money and don't get in my way.
Take care of my own.
That's all I wanted to do at the time. My daughter was a baby, so she don't remember any of that. She don't remember any of it. So, I mean, ultimately, nothing good could come from it. However, I just did what I had to do. I did what I had to do, man. Every single day, no days off. Sunday, no days off. But
you were a hardworking drug dealer.
But I was able to stack my money back up, man, and kind of like provide for my my new daughter. You know what I mean? To the best of my ability.
And when did this go south?
Man, okay. At this time, things in the city start changing. So my cousin, okay. How do I want to say this? I never claimed to be the biggest drug dealer, no kingpin status. I didn't make it to as high levels as some of the people who I know. But a person that I look to, I guess he was like a drug dealing mentor to me. He was kind of guiding me through how to do it, what he was doing, and what would work. So what he did was he created a system where we're going to kind of make this thing into a machine kind of process. We're gonna have lookouts. We're gonna have lookouts. One person collect the money. One person collect the drug. This is not gonna be a freelance area no more. Right. We're gonna put all the money in, work it as a team, and in turn we're gonna have organization and we're gonna make more money. So that right there is what changed the game forever because the systemization of it. I mean, when I tell you, man, it blew up, man. It blew up. And I'm like, what gave you this idea? Well, of course, he saw somebody else do it and he tried it in his own way with a few slight changes. So we took control of a neighborhood and all the drugs being sold in that neighborhood all ran through us. Now, it wasn't my operation. I just was a significant player in the operation that happened to be able to make good money from doing it.
Was there any... I keep thinking this today, but was there any gang affiliation going on with any of this? Or was it a total separate entity?
Not until later down the line. So down the line, the gang, this is what helped get the whole neighborhood, 26 people indicted, which this is, you can look this up. It made the news as one of the biggest drug/gang indictments in Oakland. They wanted to call it that. They wanted more, but they did shut the entire operation down entirely. However, we were just getting money, man. It was like a Burnout family. If you put that in there, the Burnout family indictment, it'll come up. Burnout family indictment. It took all of them. Everybody went down. Everybody. So what ended up happening though, we just one lookout on each corner. Everybody gets a walkie-talkie. Everybody played a part in the operation, so nobody felt cheated. All the profit being made was dispersed through everybody that played a part. So it might be 6 to 8 people per shift. Whatever gets made, pay for products, split the profit. Everybody gets paid. So me moving up the ranks and shit, I was able to play a significant part in it and make enough money where I didn't have to be outside no more.
Are you working directly with your brother doing this?
Nah, it was separate? A couple other players, like the people who organized it. My brother was there. We all were there. So when the feds came, they knew everything. I'm talking about every aspect of the operation. And I want to say the indictment came around, 2011.
Yeah, we just saw one 2012 came up here. And this is long after you were.
Yeah, but it was going for that long.
Yeah.
It was going for that long with multiple people. Yeah, feds and remember Oakland Burnout family mafia. Yeah, okay. That's when the article came out. How many people did it say? Yeah, see? So
18-month-long investigation conducted by
31 defendants. So this is a neighborhood that this is an indictment that took everybody I know.
And you had been a part of this
neighborhood. The whole neighborhood went down for that. Wow. So look, corners selling heroin and cocaine on three corners in East Oakland, controlled by Burnout family mafia gang. So we controlled that whole no one else could come there and sell drugs. And when they tried, is when the gang and when violence occurred, when the federal agents and DEA got involved and wanted names and players and surveillance and sitting there for days and days and watching houses and addresses and locations. And
was there any Bloods and Crips?
No Bloods and Crips never. It's just like
none of that.
Burnout family in another neighborhood. They're would be like
affiliated.
The mini park, or it would be more so like it was like gangs would name themselves like something. Some person would come up with a gang. One big one was Nutcase Gang. They were big. They were one of the biggest gangs in Oakland. It even still exists to this day. Burnout family became a gang because we were making money, and then the younger guys that came in after us wanted to be tough. So what they did is they start making enemies, which we knew drug dealing and violence never mix. So therefore, it just started going downhill. I try to disassociate myself from that, but me, like I said, playing a position in that, it was lucrative enough.
Yeah, you're making a lot of money.
You can make $2-3 grand a day profit.
It's hard to turn that off.
It's hard to turn that off, man. It's hard to turn it off. I think that's around the time I made the first $1 million I ever made. I was about 21 years old. $2,000 to $3,000 profit a day every day. Hustling, not really having much of a life outside of that, but doing that for month after month. And I wasn't the highest paid member in the operation. It was other people that was in it also that were making more than me. It just was like, okay, here it is. You take care of this right here. This is what we solely want you to focus on. Just focus on this, man. Stick to the script, and this is what's going to happen. And then another person, okay, you only focus on everybody. You hire people. You find people. You make sure they straight. Nobody can steal. We don't want to take no losses. If anybody lets the police penetrate us, they got to go. We cannot be. So for years and years, we never got busted. For years. I mean, you just keep lookouts. You don't, it's only one person dealing, and they don't really know where he's at. He's behind a gate. He's secure. You can't even reach him. And they have one person kind of like protection holding the gun. I mean, that's what it was. Unfortunately, though, that just don't last long because they got hip to the starting with the lower members. It led them up to higher end members, which got my name across their desk. Like I want to
long before these indictments.
Long before those indictments. 40.
So when did you go down?
I went down. Okay, so I went to state prison in 2003. No. Okay, this is what happened. One day I get caught. I had like in the house, it was cocaine and a gun in the house that I was at. They were watching this house for another reason. And
DEA?
No, it was the state authority. This is regular cops. This is
you went to state prison, right?
Oakland Task Force. So they were watching the house for something else, and I was going over there, kind of like processing and doing shit. And then when they came in that house, and I was in there, this is what got me sent to San Quentin back in 2003. So that was my first time No, no, no. Wow, was that my first time?
Well, you said you went to adult jail.
Yeah, no, it
when you
wasn't
were
my first
arrested
time,
for the
but
weed.
I got right out.
Right, you
I
got
right out
out
on that. Right out.
You got probation. So this is your first time doing hard time.
Yeah. But it really wasn't a hard time because I got a lawyer. He argued that it wasn't my house. Yeah, it was drugs and a gun there. They wanted to know why I had a key to the house. They ended up. I pled out to 2 years, man. Did 8 months and was back on the streets, man, so fast just from having the right lawyer, man. But again, I'm on a new probation, so now the cops know if they get me again, I'm on probation. We can hold him. He can't bail out. He won't be able to have much of a fight.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
So you still went back to it.
So once I got out, I went right back because it's not no time for a person making hundreds of thousands of dollars. And at this time, like I said, 03, like I didn't even know how much money I was making. I just was putting it up, hiding it at multiple places. And then the OG who told me, who put me in it and told me how to do it. He the one that told me, like, bro, basically, I know you got $1 million already. And I'm like, hell no, I'm getting there. I know I got 600K and whatever. He know how much he was holding. So in turn, he knew that I had to be doing the same because we were on the same program. But my point is, I'm like, that didn't even seem like a lot of money. And I wish he never told me that because at the time it went to my head. I thought I was bigger than I was. I started spending money crazy. I was going to clubs, drinking champagne, showing off that I had money. I was buying Rolexes and buying flashier cars.
That's the problem.
I just did all of the stupid shit that just didn't contribute to my growth. I probably could have stayed really low key and not focused on that and then transition better without this bigger case where in 04 when I went to jail, this is when I got that big time. Like I said, I got 12 years straight state, but you only do half of that. But if you go to fire camp, you can do a little less.
Right. So you ended up doing 5 or 6 or something.
Yeah, about 4 and almost 5. But that's the time when I got caught. I think they got like what, $250 cash. They came in the house. I had about almost $250 cash.
Oof.
Had a kilo, maybe 1.5 kilos.
Was this state again?
A state again. Yeah,
state investigation.
State again because they associated me with the Burnout gang as being a supplier, and they start following me around. And they arrested me and on a state charge. And that's when I was like, I sat down for that.
During this whole period, do you have any contact with your parents and your family? Like, do they know their grandparents?
My kids?
No. Like, your parents at the time and during this time period. Like, did they know your life at all? Did they know you had a kid?
They know I had a kid, so the kid...
Did you talk with them?
The mother of my kids was able to communicate with them, and they were able to be a part of my child's life. Me, I was full-fledged running the streets, so my mom and dad, they were totally against that, and we didn't deal with each other so much, so no.
Never had a conversation with your dad.
I saw him. He was so short with me to show his disapproval. Like I won't. Right. You can't give me what? Not here. We don't want your money. We don't need nothing from you. You're a part of the problem. Like
I've seen these movie scenes.
You think you're hot? You think you're hot shit out there just messing up the whole community, huh? You think you're so special? Like, nah, we don't want nothing to do with that. We're good, upstanding people over here. That's why we moved over here. You stayed in Oakland. You stay over there. That was his exact words. You stayed in Oakland when we cut. You stay over there. We're over here doing something different.
What about your third brother or the second brother? I should say.
He dibbled and dabbled. And the crazy part about that is, man, he ended up getting indicted with me when I went to the feds.
No, not that one. Mm-hmm. The one who didn't get into that life.
Yeah, he got indicted with me for doing me a favor.
Oh, wait, so the third one ended up getting involved?
He got indicted with me, man, with the feds. He never been in trouble before. Never been in trouble before. Into 2013, when I went to federal prison, I asked him to do me a favor one time, and he dropped off work to a federal informant.
Oh my God!
I fucked up so bad. I fucked up so bad.
All right, we're gonna get there.
My third brother never been in trouble.
We're gonna get there. I didn't realize that was tied into that because that has to do with the dark web stuff and the credit card stuff. So you get rolled up again with the $250,000 cash and all that. You end up with doing close to 5 years. You're getting out 08, something like that.
08, yeah.
Okay, so you come back into the streets, but you decide, I'm done with drug dealing at this point.
While I was in state prison, I was considering myself a sociable. So I was talking to people who that normally probably wouldn't talk to inner city youth. These dudes that's basically coming from East Oakland, Richmond, the
Sure.
ghetto. So this guy, he was telling me that he didn't think that I was making smart decisions about dealing drugs. He's like, man, that's just such a waste of time, such a waste of money. Was it worth it? The margins aren't that good. How much is the most money you make? I told him I made over $1 million before. That's not a lot of money. You were really happy, huh? But you don't have it now. You spent it, man. How much of it were you able to save? And I told him about the case. So, 250 the cops took on that case, took the drugs equivalent to about 50, and then one of my fake family members broke into a different stash house and stole another $200K worth of drugs out of a stash house that only he knew about. He knew about this stash house because he helped me get it. It was a private stash house. He broke in there when I was in county jail, and by the time I called home to have somebody go move the stuff, it was already gone.
Oh my God.
My fucking fake family member backdoored me. He backdoored, took the shit. So this took me down. This took me from a place where I was pretty good, pretty straight, to almost a place of panic. My last 150, 200K to my name. I was all scared. I was nervous. I felt like kind of lost.
And you're still in prison.
Yeah, while I'm in prison. Yeah, so I still,
so you got nothing to come after.
After all of these losses, I'm knowing that I'm practically starting fresh when I come over. Like, I got some money stashed, but it's not like significant enough. That's like, it's not life changing money, but I did have a cool stash. I had a cool size stash. So this guy I meet in prison, he's like telling me about a different way to make money, but he didn't invite me in it though. He's just telling me about it. Like, oh, you guys are kind of crazy. I would never do that. Like, how dare you? Well, I mean, how's a prisoner? We're in prison and he's telling me I'm not shit, but he's in here with me. But anyway, I wasn't there to fight him. Me and the guy actually were cool. He was a different nationality and we were able to eat together because normally in prison, you don't eat with other races. That's just a rule. Like, blacks eat with blacks. White, you're not invited over here. So his race could have got mad at him for even embracing me, and so could my people. But everybody was pretty cool at that place we were at. We was at Susanville. So it's a level 2. Level 3, no tolerance for level 3 is no tolerance for interracial mingling and all of that. No,
yeah, I hear that from so many people. They just stick together.
Stick together. We might go to war with them any given time, so don't intermingle with them. So while I was in there, we talking about this, and he's like, all right, since we were really cool while we were there, he's like, hey, when you get out, send me a picture, some letters, and show me how you doing, man. I want to know the after story, right? And then if you could bring my sister a few cans of Bugler, some cigarettes and shit, man. You know, I like to smoke and whatever the case may be. She's gonna smuggle it in here, whatever. I mean, it's big business. Cigarettes in jail is like, well, I want to say $3 per.
Yeah, it's a good trade, trading item.
$3 per one. So I did it because I wanted to keep my word. I'm like, I told him I would do it, I'll do it. So he in turn introduced me to what he was doing by way of, okay, so first thing first, when I got out, I knew I didn't want to deal drugs no more. I'm like, man, that shit is just terrible. I would have to start all over and come up, man, and they still doing it in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? But if I go jump back in that, I don't know how much heat they got. I just convinced myself that wasn't for me. But once this dude offered me the opportunity to kind of do the white collar stuff, I had never known nothing about this, by the way, never. And I didn't even believe the kind of money was involved.
And what was he telling you, like, specifically? How was he doing? Because, like, we know you got into credit card fraud, but there's different ways to do this. I was telling you before, I had John Boziak in here, who was he was a big time credit card scammer for years back during this era, and he was doing it more where he ended up becoming a printer of cards, I believe, but he was getting like mass supply from Russia and Ukraine through the dark web, and then like shipping it out. Like there was a lot of different things he was doing. But what was when you were in prison? This guy was explaining to you, here's how it's done. What was like the methodology he had?
He was telling me that they were able to get stuff where, okay, so what he did tell me was they got so much. It started off like he didn't even probably know how much he can trust me. He started off saying, we have a lot of merchandise, whatever you want. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like at the time, flat screen TVs was really popular and they was expensive. Like I think we got a crate of flat screens. We got a crate of laptops. iPhones had just came out. He said, we have 30, 40 iPhones. So he's like, if you want, you pay me this amount for them and then you go sell it, but I'll always leave you room.
So wait, that's selling straight. All right. I'm not following.
Okay, so first things first, he brung me in on the merchandise side. His crew was going out doing the fraud, getting the stuff and selling
I
it.
understand.
So his crew was going out getting all of the
Got
shit.
it.
He didn't bring me right into the how we get it. He's like, so I got out, I did the cigarette thing, talked to his sister again. He put me with one of his main guys. So he's like, all right, yeah, man, like basically give me 8,000 right here, right? So I give him 8,000. It's like a container. In this container, if you might say the retail was close to 40, 35, 40, I went and sold that container for 15, 16,000 where the next person had room too. So this might have been laptops, all laptops and flat screen TVs that they were carding. They were carding for this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, you thinking this is...
Can you explain carding to people again? John explained this, but
also carding is that they get information from the dark web, probably through Russia, Ukraine, or some people they cut those Russians and Ukrainians out and they install skimmers on all payment processing systems, and then they put them in all of these stores. That kind of stuff works the best because it's unique to the area. So I believe my guy, how he had control of what they can make exactly, he was a skimmer guy because he didn't like the Russian, Ukraine ordering off the dark web. I kind of like discovered that and ran across that, but the quality of stuff you get from there is iffy. Because
it's like 7 out of 50.
It's
sometimes.
7 out of 50 sometimes, but you can and you will make money off of that at that time. This is before chip cards. So his stuff mainly probably came from skimmers that he was collecting the information and he controlled it. So
you're saying skimmers?
A skimmer is like when you swipe your card at a payment processor, they're in the background getting your information, including your PIN number.
How do they do that?
So they
hack it?
Every system is made to be circumvented. They found out the person who makes the payment credit card processors, and then they build them. And then now you can go in the store and put your device on top of that.
My God.
You put a device on top of the existing one, or what you do is you could possibly hack into it, but I believe to localize to make it better, you want region specific work.
And that's a big problem with Russia, Ukraine, because they're not familiar with the regions and stuff around here. So you could get like the wrong zip code and
okay. Yeah. So region specific work that's how he controlled it. So I think I told you this off camera. Like if he had a card, he knew that card would be able to spend $20,000. I'm like, yeah, but it's not a $50 card. If I'm telling you, and if you don't spend $20,000, I'll get you another one until you spend 20. So my thing is, all I needed was some people to help me out with my play. Once I got over buying his stuff, reselling it, making some money, I'm like, this is way more money than I made off drugs because I spent $8,000 to make $5,000 profit.
When you went home, like, is your girl and your kid still around too?
No, my girl left by then. I mean, 5 years in prison. I couldn't expect her to stay.
Sure.
Because this is like, I didn't even know. I couldn't even fathom doing that. I couldn't even fathom that, actually. So she left. I had a new girl when I came home. I met a new girl. I reconnected with the girl who I knew before, and we ended up getting together. So that's why I came home, and I was.
But your daughter's away.
My daughter's out of the house, which still defeated the purpose of me wanting to be a father there with my child. But prison ruined that anyway. But the great part from all of this is my parents embrace my children, where they know nothing about any illicit activity, any circumventing systems.
So even when your girl did she move far away?
She didn't move far away. She moved on to another guy and had kids with another man.
Okay.
So that
they're around.
We were done. Like my first daughter's mom. And by then I do have another daughter that I had in between that prison sentence, but then I'll explain to you like the relationship. Yeah, I'll explain that too. So now once I get I find out that this is a way to make way more money and easier and less risk. I mean, again, I rationalize that.
Yeah.
What's the harm? The bank will pay them back anyway, but I knew exactly almost what I was going to make, and it turned back into a 30, 50K a month.
You're financially inconveniencing
I
them.
mean, yeah, a little bit, I mean, I didn't
make
do
Matt
it. Look,
proud.
I didn't do it. They're going to do it anyway, even if I don't do
crime.
it. Yeah, it's not a crime. These big banks don't care about us anyway.
Yeah.
They got billions. They're insured.
Yeah.
I came with every reason to
Hit
make
the
him
insurance house. Come on.
Yeah, to make it make sense. But he gave me an opportunity to kind of go on my own and not deal with him. However, that's when I was like, okay, I can order this dark web work, and I can order this dark web stuff in bulk for way less, but it's like much harder. It's much more footwork. So I still needed him. He made sure I still needed him, even though he gave me the game. He kind of put me in it again. Like, I'm like, how the hell this fool knows this? He's walking around with dusty sweatpants on in a prison yard, dirty shoes. He's brilliant. I'm
Who
like,
was
if,
he connected
if
to?
those dudes on the yard knew, I just think he knew some people. He must have knew. He didn't ever tell me, but who do you know that can make skimmers?
I mean, I don't know anyone that can do that. So.
Like I couldn't even. I even looked online and tried to learn it and figure it out, but he never told me that. But obviously, a person that can extract credit card information, personal information, and then from there you do a like background check and you find out all the information needed on a person. I mean, it's infinite possibilities of what you can do, and this is for part of the reason why I don't deal with people's personal and financial information to this day. I just won't do it, man. I mean, it's a real touchy thing. Iffy kind of deal that it's hard to trust somebody who may be capable of doing these kind of things. But I don't even care to do that because I don't ever need my name coming back up in some shit like that again. So what ended up happening was I knew what I could get from him, and he wasn't gonna deal with too many people. He had milked this obviously and made millions. This guy who on the prison yard, he still stayed there another 2 years before he got out and got deported. So he went.
Oh, he got deported.
Deported.
Where'd he get deported to?
Back to the Europe somewhere. Back out of here. He got kicked out. I never saw him when he got out. I never saw him in person.
I am going back to my country.
Yeah, he
Don't
went
worry
back, but he had made millions. I'm like, damn, but nobody there with him. No.
And this is the peak of that era.
This
You
is
are
the peak
in
of
the
that. Yeah.
peak of like when dark web credit card scamming was the vibe.
Oh yeah, and it's people running up and down state to state doing it. All these
God.
news stories, everything you hear about it. So
All right, real quick, I gotta go to the bathroom, but
cool.
we'll be right back. All right, we're back. So we were leaving off with getting into some of how you were doing this. So like we said, this was kind of the peak of this period and everything. But what was the after you started like moving product initially, right? So you're basically taking the iPhones, laptops, whatever you could sell based on what they were able to scam off of. What did this end up turning into? Like, how did you expand the business?
I basically started.
You're good.
I started my own operation where I recruited a couple people to work directly with me with a profit share. Instead of saying, "Oh, you work for me, bring me back all the money." No, we're gonna share the profit off of this. So
A true businessman.
I mean, mixing in some of that Ukraine, some of that work, giving it to them, letting them code it, letting them write it, code it, go out and use it.
What do you mean write it, code it?
So once you get the information, it comes in a certain format. They have to put it on a magnetic strip card. They have to either that or you have to order. You get the complete credit card information and all other personal information where you can order online. You order stuff online like since you have all information, they'll deliver it anywhere you want. Security wasn't as tight back then. You got, like you said, it's the peak of it all, and there's so many things happening. They don't even know how to attack that. So I wouldn't have to do it. I just kind of formed a team. So I got like 3 people that I could trust, and then I explained it all to them. Like, okay, and of course, now that I'm giving you everything, you can do it on your own. However, your management skills aren't like mine's. You'll make more money with me instead of going off on your own. 1 or 2 people went off on their own, tried to do it, but they came back.
Were these people that you knew from your drug dealing days?
One was, but then in this industry, it's easier to work with women. they're not suspected to be doing to be doing what they're doing. And especially if a middle-aged or an older woman that dressed professional. So it was a system that...
Where were you finding these people?
I would find people who may
Monster.com?
have fell like a friend of a friend, a referral of somebody. Like if anybody asks to borrow money, my question is, why do they need to borrow money? What's wrong with their situation? What will fix their situation? Or she's in between jobs, or her husband left, or they broke up from a relationship, or she's behind on bills. Oh, okay. Well, ask her, do she want to make some money? I don't have a problem helping her make money rather than giving her $250, $300. Tell her to talk to me. Let's go eat. So I recruited some good people like that, mainly older women, an older guy, not young hipsters, sagging jeans, True Religions. No, I didn't want my crew to look like that. So they went in unsuspectedly and did what they had to do it, because I just didn't want to be involved with that directly, because now after the jail time, I'm like, I don't want to go back. I'm just like, no.
You're on probation.
I'm on parole. I'm on parole. State parole, which coming in contact with the cops back in for a year. Like, oh, they said you were suspected to be doing something. Like you were in the you in the vicinity of a crime. So let's just sit you down for a while until we figure out what's going on. It's just too easy to get violated on parole rather than probation. It's just no tolerance. So
did you get like a real job? Because you have to.
I actually was working through a family member, like that cleaning service. I actually was working through that, and then I also like
your mom's thing.
No, my mom gave that up in like 99, 2000. My brother and my cousin took the business over,
and you were working,
and they just kicked her back money. My brother and my cousin, so they got 3 vans. They're doing upholstery, carpet. They're doing tile, janitor. They're doing everything.
This is the third brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're doing that. That it's rolling. It's doing this. It's moving, and I was like, okay, hire me. He was like, all right, cool. But after that, I was like kind of selling cars and just whatever I can do to keep my parole officer off of me and show him that I was getting a legal check.
And then on the side,
like my after losing my money, after being like okay, so this is, everybody believe all they have to do is make $1 million and it's going to change their life forever, or just make way more money than they have, but it's not, because whenever you do, most people aren't ready for that. I mean, the pandemic, when everybody got money that didn't have money, they kind of showed you that they weren't supposed to have money, because all they did is spent it and gave it right back into the economy.
That's right.
None of them hardly saved it, but you got to think 85% of the people did nothing with the money. So no matter what you're doing, you have to be the top 10%, because most drug dealers will never make it to a kilo. Most drug dealers will never make $100,000. I had read this book while I was in prison. It was kind of, I think, What the Dog Saw, by Matthew Gladwell. He says
Malcolm Gladwell.
Yeah. What the Dog Saw. So what the dog saw, that most prostitutes, they prostitute for survival. Only very few, less than 5% of them, will end up being successful and transition from prostitution to whatever else they're going to do. Same thing with drug dealers. Most drug dealers live with their mom. He did a study and got all of the statistics that says most drug dealers only make enough money to survive. The ones that will become lucrative, the ones that will make into a lucrative business, is so far and few in between. You can go do anything else and make more money than a drug dealer.
But when they're coming up, they see the main guys.
Because most people only make it to like 1 ounce, and then they'll do it every single day and never have 10,000 saved. Same thing with financial crimes, fraud, or any of that. To do what some people did that I know, become a millionaire from fraud, scam, and financial crime, top 10%, then the top 10% of that, because the money will come in fast. Like 60K, 50K months were normal for me, but I didn't do nothing because I've had money and I lost money. So all I wanted to do is put that money up. I didn't want to shop, spend, ball out. Now, okay, a birthday.
Are you talking about like when you had 50, 60K with the credit card stuff?
50, 60K a month start coming from credit card stuff after paying my crew and then not being directly involved. Still can make 50, 60K a month back then. So it's just the way, because
it's a lot better than we're doing here.
I mean, listen, I thought it would serve me, but again, it didn't, because I kept going. At one point, and I'm holding $750,000, $800,000 cash. I went and bought a Bentley. I bought a motherfucking Bentley, man, of all the things I could have did. Now, here am I being a stereotypical black guy. As soon as you get money, why do I need this car? It was $170 at the time. I went and got
Was
it.
this like 2010?
Yep,
Like that?
I had it was '09. It was a '09 and 2010. I had that. So here I am.
Why'd you feel like you needed to buy that?
A few people start doubting me. The chatter and the whispers was that I fell off and I lost it all.
Oh,
and it
you
was
needed
good.
to fuck
And I'm in the same community. Instead of me getting out of that community completely, I was gravitated right back to where it all started in an environment. Nobody's doing anything different than another. And they was like, yeah, he used to be. Oh, it was a time when he was that dude, but look at him now amongst us. And I think I had a GTO, a Silverado, and then my girl at the time, I think she had a regular BMW 6 Series. So with this chatter, here it is. I know I'm holding more money than these dudes that's talking shit about me. I went out, come with the black Bentley, big rims coming through, pulling up, and they all shut up, right? They all shut up. They were like, wait, what? That's almost a $200K car, and we was just whispering that he's not the dude. Oh, shit. Now they're asking me how to get on. This is 2010. They asking me, how can I get on with you?
And they know you're not
Put
dealing.
it together. They know I'm not dealing. Yeah, the Burnout Family Mafia, they're going. That Burnout family, they're going. It's up. It's still going, but it's different players, but the game is still the same. I just couldn't go implement myself directly in that. So now they asking me questions. I'm that dude. I have the answers because all you have to do is look a little bit better than the student, and then you could be a professor, right? The professors now just look a little better than the students, although they're not that much smarter. They're not that much smarter, but they look like
Depends on the professor.
Depending on the, you know what I'm saying? Because I do that, and then now I do back and forth to Miami, Vegas. I'm balling, I'm gambling, start cheating on my girl, messing with random women. You know, it's expensive to be a player. I don't know what these dudes make it glamorize.
Oh, yeah.
They glamorize it on social media, but to be a player and have 4 or 5, 3 different girlfriends, that is expensive. They don't come cheap, especially when they know you have a girl.
It's interesting though, because like you've moved. Was there something in you that designated this as above and better? And this is the wrong word to use, but like more upstanding than drug dealing, so you rationalized it to yourself and said, all right, I might be breaking the law, but I'm not really breaking the law like that.
I tried that, and it only works when I'm drinking or smoking weed. I mean, you know what I mean? Because ultimately, if you get caught with this is a Secret Service. It's a federal offense. When you get caught with this, so I knew it carried time. Like
we just had one of those investigators in here.
I'm just saying.
Porsche. Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So I the rationalization is only to make me sleep better, I guess. But I kind of knew it was messed up. But my one of my things I used to tell myself is, well, I didn't steal their information. I didn't do it. I just
found it.
I just kept you.
I have to use it.
Yeah, and then the people who I was talking to, nobody was rooting for me to be great. It's like,
what do you mean?
I surrounded myself with people where it was like always some sort of competition of who can do it better. Mm-hmm. Like, had I been around people who I end up meeting later down the line that'll sit there and tell you you're wrong, dude. It's nothing right about that, man. So you're going to sit here and try to convince yourself that shit is cool because, like, it might have forced me to take a step back. But all of these, the people who I'm around, let's go. Ball hard. They like, they like, you know, you go to a club and a bar, you standing on couches and everybody got a bottle in their hand and you feel like you're celebrating a championship.
It's a good feeling.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then more liquor, more, you know what I mean? Weed, you want some Molly, you want a pill, it just turns into so much more toxic behavior. I mean, so I tried to rationalize it, but that shit didn't work. That shit just didn't work, man. I just was hoping I was able to get enough ahead to jump out of it, to jump out of it, which never happened.
What did a normal day look like for you?
Back then?
Yeah, like what was a business day?
A day
at the fraud office.
A business day at the fraud. So how did it go? Wake up anytime I wanted, but I still would get up early.
The boss?
Yeah, don't have to rush anywhere. Find out the play for the day, like who's gonna be on. Like I already know who's gonna do it. Like if 2 people, 1 person, and exactly what the job will consist of.
And what might a standard job be?
A standard job would be like, okay, we're not dealing with this Russian-Ukraine stuff. 3 cards, 2 people, get close to $70,000 worth of stuff. 60 to 70,000. Different stores. It's
different
a truck.
Zip codes, different days.
Yeah. It was all case specific. So we want to go to affluent areas that won't blink an eye at what you're doing though, because like you're gonna be going and it basically so it's not every day though, because on a Monday or a Tuesday nobody's going into one store to spend 12.5. Like on a Saturday or Sunday, like a busy shopping day, those are the days. So some days all I would do is just kind of like chill, get my shit together, work on a plan, try to gather as much stuff as I can that I know will be used in the coming days. So that's what a typical day will be, preparing for those work days, because you got to think every
scouting
day,
locations,
scouting
what cars are
locations,
going to be used,
GPS system, who's on it, car that can't be traced, mind you. So that's some of the hard stuff that goes in there. You can't use the same vehicles back and forth at all of these different stores.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't do so. Changing the car. Where are they going to put all this stuff at? A cargo van, buy one, rent one, rider. I'm using assumed identities to rent vans that won't link back to an actual person.
So you're getting fake IDs for some of your guys.
Because they weren't actually running the driver's license at these locations to even know if they were valid or not. So you can send a person into a location to rent a cargo van with an ID. Now they do, but then you can just go in there, you showing the driver's license and stuff like that, especially if it says out of state. They don't even know how to use international. Interstate systems. They don't even know how. So he's from Arizona. He's about to go and rent this cargo van for a day or maybe 2 days. Nobody ever checks. So planning. So I plan that, but I may not do nothing. But on a work day, so we get the routes to them, give them a GPS, get them going, kind of have a list of what we want. And my buyers already kind of tell me what they want. Like, so at one point, Apple products was just really, really, really popular.
Who were your regular buyers?
Wow. Well, if I had to say, it'll be.
It's just you and me. There's no cameras.
Some international. It wasn't our people. It was more like Asians, Armenian, Indians, like people that keep large amounts of cash. They may be doing some export import. They might be having their own store to go sell at retail, like at higher margins. It was my I just actually had some Asians. I had some good Asians with a lot of cash.
Got it.
And they were very, very private and personal and stuff.
And how would you communicate with them?
Actually, you go get it wasn't track phone. It was not a
burner phone.
Burner phone, like a little phone. They don't want to, or they're like one guy in particular. He owned a cell phone shop, so he would give me phones and then swap SIMs. Give me here, take this phone. You know what I mean? And he gave me. I learned good lessons from him also, because he taught me that sometimes being greedy is the main thing that's going to destroy you. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And he's like, you bring me all of this stuff. You're not the only one that brings me this stuff. I take far less margin off of each item, like 30, 50, 60 bucks, but I can sell as much as I want. I know how you guys get this stuff. And here it is. You're making $300, $400, $500 profit. You're making $1,000, but you won't make more than me because I do business different than you. He's basically like, you guys are greedy, but I don't care because I make my money off of it. Let's just keep this going until it plays out. Because you got to think, if he's a guy that can buy 100 iPhones a day, he has the cash on deck to buy them. And then he knows how to sell them to his network over a 1 or 2 day period to make 50, 60 bucks per and just keep this going. Then ultimately his weekly, monthly income margins are going to be pretty high because he's just quick in, quick out. Me, I'm like, I need 75% of retail value for these products. That's it. You know what I mean? And he had no problem paying that much for it. And then I had other people who I would take stuff to, mainly stuff that they ordered.
How did you initially connect with those buyers? Like, you just found them online?
Nah, hell no. People know people. And then also forums. Forums were real big then. Like,
right.
I don't know how Google. No, it wasn't even Google. It was that Onion browser. Tor back then.
So this is what people were using to get on Silk Road?
Yes.
Were you doing some of this through Silk Road?
I didn't do Silk Road, but on Tor you can find a forum for anything. So on those forums, people that are looking to sell, buy items, this, that, then you tell them what area you're in. And this is like around a time when cryptocurrency and digital currency was all popping. Like I said, I knew about cryptocurrency, digital coins and tokens. Like before Bitcoin, it was like Perfect Money, it was Liberty Reserve. It was like so many other forms of payment that we used to use before Bitcoin came along. Then Bitcoin, of course, took over. Like I had Bitcoin at
$2.
nah, hell no. It was like $89. I got it some anyway. I had it.
You still got that?
I had it in that's what saved me when I came out of federal prison too, some Bitcoin. But it was like $89, $89 like in
good.
'08 and
How many Bitcoins did you have?
I had at one back then I had thousands. I had so many of them because you gotta think when it was popping, I had 20 and 30,000 in it at the time, but it was all going out. It was going out, but I wasn't able to save but 8 or 10 of them. And
Yeah, go ahead.
at the peak, like when it blew up, I was only able to save like 8 or 10. Like
so
8,
you at least still had that when you were coming out of prison.
That's the only thing
And
that
you still have that
saved
now?
me. That saved. Well, I had to liquidate some of it, and then I had to liquidate.
What year?
That was 2018, 2017, 2017.
Well, actually, 2017 wasn't as bad.
It wasn't as bad,
2018 was low.
but I didn't think I would even have it. Like I was just didn't tell nobody. I was praying. I was hoping. Like I knew then it would be worth way more than what I had it. Like I was like, damn, wait. All I need to do is get in this computer, and it was there. I was like, damn. So,
did you have it on a hard wallet?
I had it on a hard. Yeah,
Ooh.
it was good. It was good. I was so fortunate to go back then. So I didn't tell a bunch of people either. I didn't even tell a bunch of people about it.
Yeah, you don't want to tell them about that.
Hell no, because they were like,
Alessi, when was your dad buying this? Like how early?
2016, 17.
All right, so he was later. Okay.
Yeah.
that still was big money because you got to think. I got in. I can go look back on my phone and I know exactly where I was getting in at $89, $119 a coin. But you got to think some weeks I'm spending $10K, $12K, $15K because if this dude is coming with some heavy work, like he like, all right, it's a package deal with $150 worth $150 spend. He's gonna guarantee me I could spend $150 or replace the card until I spend $150.
Yeah.
So everybody's gonna be like, oh, you're a scammer, you're a fraudster. Okay, say what you want. I've been called everything, but I had a guy who can give me dedicated amounts, like on cards. Like so it's $150,000 I can go spend. Well, he wants $27.5 cash up front. And he's gonna assure me I can go spend the $150. Now, what I do with this $150 when I spend it, I have to go get 75-80% of the value because I have to pay my crew, recoup the investment, and then move on to the next deal.
These guys, though, that you were buying for that you found on these forums, did you know their identities?
Not really. They never wanted to tell you that.
Of course,
And then,
yeah.
Nah,
That's what I'm
I
thinking,
didn't.
but-
You meet a person in between. I met a person in between. Don't bring your workers with you. Like, nah, don't bring them. Or not.
Like you'd meet in person with a go-between
I
guy?
would meet before. I have before. San Jose. He knows where San Jose is. San Jose, Milpitas. Every now and then, it's a random person at a coffee shop hands me an envelope of cash. That's it.
So
You know what I mean?
they would. So people from other countries would send over people to send you cash during an era where you're doing everything transactionally online with digital currency.
But they have people here anyway. Like it could be a family member. They have some people here because I'm not the only one they're communicating with. Like this is a guy I met in person. That Russian Ukraine work, that shit hit. Okay, it hit. There's some people that made money off of that. I swear it's a bunch of people on YouTube still giving tutorials and still milking that. That shit been over with, but they're still milking that about how they ordered 1,000 credit card numbers for $2,000 and they were able to go sell them and distribute them, which I tried some of that work too. But the problem with that was people were going to come back and be like, yo, only 2 out of those 10 work. I want a refund. So it's a hassle. You have to, it's almost like curb serving. It's almost like selling hand to hand. I wanted to be a behind the scene in anything that I was doing. I didn't want to be on a typical level. So like I said, so if it's a 150 spending, 120, 150 worth of spend, he's going to give me that spending power, but he wants pretty much 30 cash up front, Bitcoin. 30 in Bitcoin. Right. So this is how much Bitcoin I was buying at the time, but I didn't never know or think anything of it.
Who was your source again to actually get the cards?
Which one?
To get
it's
the
still
numbers?
the guy that I was in prison with.
Right. Okay.
It's still him. It's still him. But again, once you
and he's over there now.
He's over there, but we talking all the time. We what it's
So
ICQ.
Ukrainian
So
pen pal?
back then we using ICQ. It was another, what was this other one? ICQ, and then it was another one like Signal. It was a
Signal sounds right.
no, that wasn't out. It was ICQ,
yet.
and it was like ping. It was one more app like that you can use that was encrypted where you could communicate with people before WhatsApp and all of that. But ICQ was the main one where you can communicate with anybody around the world safely, encrypted, whatever. At least so we thought, and that's how we communicated directly. And then we would talk through there too. Once they added a phone feature. Once they added a phone feature, we could talk through there. That's it. Never on a regular communication device. But like I said, this dude's stacking up so much money. So even to this day, but anyway, we'll get there too. But he, what happened? So I have to give him that much Bitcoin. So it didn't mean much to me. Like before Bitcoin, Liberty Reserve, their founders got indicted with over $300 million in digital currency of people. And that week, Bitcoin went crazy. We went directly from Liberty Reserve directly to Bitcoin. So Perfect Money lasted for a little while, but what is it? Is the federal government put a warning on the Liberty Reserve site that if you have money with this company, contact us please. Let's figure out how to get you your money. Yeah, right. Yeah, the owners of that got 25 years each. You can look that up. Liberty Reserve digital currency.
Let's look it up.
Founders indicted. Yes.
What year?
I had about 19,000 in that locked in that I never got out. That was
$19,000
worth of digital currency.
I thought you were gonna say Bitcoin.
No, they didn't use Bitcoin. That was their its own currency. Like they made it.
I was thinking
Reserve,
of Bitcoin for a second.
20 years. Liberty Reserve. What year does that say?
2016. Liberty Reserve.
No, that's when he got convicted. But when it say arrested?
Yeah, it says jailed for 20. Oh, arrested.
Shut down.
The online facility shut down in 2013, had operated out of Costa Rica. Prosecutors in New York said many of its clients had been cyber criminals who had sought to move funds anonymously. 2 other men involved in the business were sentenced to shorter jail terms. 2 more people will be sentenced 13 May. The authorities are still trying to locate further 2 subjects.
That's what I read. This domain has been seized, and that's what that's when I tried to log in and
I think that's like what they had on Silk Road too. When it got
so I
seized.
saw that, I was like, damn, everything I have here is stuck. And then from then on out, I was using only exclusively Bitcoin from then on out. But actually, I want to say that the oldest, safest, most popular payment processor serving millions around the world. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So many people don't know about that, but that's how I would pay people internationally, is with that. And they was like, oh, but cartel members use this, cyber criminals and terrorists. So they went to Costa Rica to get his ass, and he's gone. But
you make it 50, 60K a month.
At that age, like 50, 60K a month.
2011-ish, something.
All the way till indictment. All the way until indictment. But
now how'd they get you? Like how long was that investigation? Who was involved?
So what happened? Oh my God, man. Like me. What my uncle say, he's deceased now. He said, boy, you got those big kahunas, boy. You take more risks, more chances than anybody I ever met. So now I'm exclusively, so one of my friends, he gets out of prison for drug dealing stuff, drug related stuff. So now he needs to get on his feet. So I'm like, well, let me help you out, man. This is what I'm doing over here. He's like, man, that shit don't work. That's for those girls. Like, whatever. He's doubting what I'm doing. So I'll bring him in on what I'm doing. First things first. And I kind of explained it to him, but he was more fascinated with kind of having control. So he used the Ukraine work, and he was using got his own reader writer. He was able to press up the cards with a embosser, do all of his own stuff. Yeah. So he and I, we were doing it together. He got on his feet quick within a couple months, right? So he ended up getting in trouble, man. He got in trouble when he came back and started wearing a wire, getting me to admit crimes that I was committing and things that I was involved with. So what ended up happening, he was like, we was getting money. I'm talking about we was making all kind of money, partying, traveling, drunk. I mean, we were busting all kind of moves, right? So what he did was he got in trouble, and I guess he offered me, or they asked him about me, one or the other. So what he did, he started wearing a wire around 2011, and they built the case for a couple years. So what he did over this amount
Who
of
was
time,
running the case?
who? The feds. The feds were running
Secret
the case.
Service
No, this
specifically?
was okay. So it started off as local. And then it went to the Fed. It got bumped up, and they was like, "Well, what are you guys doing? And how are you doing this?" Well, he gave them all of that. And then he's like, "Okay, but how can we get him? Can we get him with it? Can you get him to like? We need him. We need him." And they were trying to discover. Yeah, we need him. He's the leader. How many people? So they're trying to make it into an operation, right? This shit is crazy, man. This shit right here. I mean, a lot of people question this, which I got all my paperwork because I didn't cooperate. I didn't get any downward departures. No leeway at all. Plus, I had a criminal history. So this shit is just so fucked. It's ironic. However, I made the decision. I don't blame anybody, even him. I blamed him for a while. Like, how could he cooperate against me? You, my boy. I would have did anything for you. You could have came to me. We would have got through this together. So he's telling them my whole operation, my whole plan. And he has a Bentley. He bought, man, this dude is a millionaire off of this shit. I'm telling you. They're like, okay, but we can't arrest him. We know all about him. We looked him up. He was a big time coke dealer. Can he still get the cocaine? And he's like, nah, he don't fuck with that no more. He won't mess with it.
They wanted to try to roll you up.
He's like, he don't mess with that no more. Bro, I'm telling you, this fraud little ring that he's doing, he's making money. He told him everything. He comes around with me and start asking me for cocaine. I'm like, bro, why would you ask me for that?
That should have been
I'm not messing with that no more, bro. Why would we want that, bro? I just made like $14,000 today. Like, look, $14,000, and I'm just waiting on the next work to come in. I'm gonna help you out. Like, what about the little case you called? He's like, oh man, they let it go. It was simple, man. I mean, come on, man. You know it ain't a big deal. Plus, I got what's her name is the lawyer, Eric Poe, this lawyer that's local. He keeps asking me over and over about the shit. And I'm like, no. Finally, one day I'm like, he's like, well, what about a small amount? Can you get me a small amount of coke? And I'm like what? He's like,
you still don't have red lights going off hearing this?
Nah, because I said no, over and over again. And then he's like, he brings a guy around. He brings this guy around. It's his cousin from Wisconsin, allegedly.
Oh, yeah.
And we kicking
allegedly.
It. This dude comes around us over 3 times. We drink. We go to the club. He's fresh, fly. He looks just like us. And he's like, oh, yeah, man, my boy said you used to be rolling with the soft. That's what they call it. With the soft. You used to be rolling with the soft. I say, I used to, but I won't fuck with that no more, man. There's no money in that shit. Like, it's like, I'm not even fucking with that. Well, he said he didn't tell you about the other play. Like, we got another play, bro. He's like, nah, because my people want this, man. And is it cool to try like a halfway to try? I'm like, nah, I'm just no. One day, I run into an old friend that got the shit. And then he's asking, I'm like, okay, this dude wants this. Okay, I'll just do it. They're going to give me $1,000 for just putting it together. Very low margin. And I fucking gave it to him. Nothing happened. Didn't think nothing of it. So this dude that he brought around is a cool dude. He's cool. Allegedly, he's a cool dude. Don't think nothing of it. He don't even ask me no more. It's cool. We doing our thing and shit. So he like, ask him for those cards, those pre-made, those right. We want that. If he can get that, and he's showing that he has, that's enough to prove he has this operation. My boy will never meet nobody or talk to nobody but me. My person that supplies. You can get that Ukraine work all day. Who cares? You can go to Silk Road and you can find somebody yourself to get that. Any 16-year-old kid could do that. But my person, he would never ever. I'm not talking to nobody but you. I'm not dealing with nobody but you. I don't even care. He's like, I don't care. We like, you don't even ask. You can't convince me to deal with nobody. I trust you. I walk the yard with you, not them. So that was out. So he puts together a deal for 5 kilos of that cocaine from that same guy. He puts together a deal and he's like, yeah, cuzzo, he wanted. He coming back out here, man.
Now you have already been convicted.
Yes.
Of moving drugs
before.
Literally twice,
yes. It's bad. It's bad. This is bad. Mind you, I sold to him already. I already sold to this dude 8 months ago. It's about 7 or 8 months.
Yeah, but now we're talking real numbers.
So he's talking real numbers. So I'm like, wow. So for 5 keys, I know I could make I can make a 10K in a day.
But you're
right?
making 50. Oh my
I
God.
know this is where my greed destroyed me. This
Yeah.
is where my greed destroyed me because he's in a car with me in a Bentley and we driving around, we kicking it, we drinking and driving, we just laughing. Life is good. I don't even know I'm already under investigation. He asked me a question. He's like, how much this car cost again, bro? Because this shit way better than my Benz. I was like, it was almost 200. It was like 170 something because I left off this and I left off that, but it still got everything I wanted in it. He's like, for real, what you owe on it? I was like, come on, bro. You already know how we do, man. You know how we move. I let, what's the name, hook it up and we played like this. And I gave him cash and then paid him more and more. And that's how I got the pink slip already. He's like, what? Like, so you don't even got a note on this? I'm like, no, I don't got no note on it. I'm like, whatever, but that's neither here nor there. What we doing about this money? He's like, dude, gonna come through. And he want the 5 of them. So I was like, but you know I can't do that, bro. He got to bring you the money. We count it up together. I take it to my guy. He counts it. He going to have somebody else drop the shit off to that somewhere else. And then I'm out of it like that. I don't want to. I was like, what you want off of? He's like, I ain't even tripping. I don't really got to get nothing out of it, man. I ain't tripping. Just give me 1,000 or 2 because I want him to know we serious. What I did is agree to make the deal on a fucking wiretap. I agreed to make the deal. So that constitutes conspiracy.
Yes.
Mind you, I sold to him already over 500 grams.
What is this, 2012?
This is
Something like
2012, exactly. So I already had sold to him before. The undercover DEA agent already sold to him, which is allegedly, well, no, not even directly though, because I didn't hand him shit. I asked my brother to drop it off to him because I was busy.
Now, did your brother know what it was?
He didn't know what it was. I asked him to meet somebody and give him a bag. Give him a bag.
They hit him with it.
He got indicted with me. Mind you, he only got, just for his involvement, he got 3 years.
3 years.
Never
for
been in trouble.
off a bag.
It's conspiracy to commit, conspiracy to distribute, using a wireless device for using a communication device in furtherance of a crime. Distribute. It's like 4 charges that I got offered 10 years. One of my first felonies, the first time I went to San Quentin, they couldn't use it because it was over 15 years old. And that's when I accepted the 7 years. Same day. When they said, we'll first, because it was 100, it was
100 years. Yeah.
No, 120 months. That was the only deal because in the federal government, they don't negotiate with you.
Facing 100 years.
120 months. 120 months. But so no. I agreed to do the deal though. The judge wouldn't accept it. He said because it sounded a little like y'all tricked him into agreeing to that. But I will give him time for what he did sell to.
So the judge saw it your way.
Yeah, because they almost, I said no. I mean, many times.
Well, that's the thing. They did. We keep looking at this from the perspective of like, how could your alarm bells not be going off? But like looking at it now the other way, this is kind of textbook entrapment. They wanted to. You were doing something else, which I guess we're gonna get to how they wired that in. But like, they then wanted to make it into something else. That was more based on your record, and they kept sending someone with a wiretap to go back over and over again to convince you to do it.
Yes, over
so the
multiple
judge,
times.
Wow.
So he said, well, because that agreeing to do that could get you 20 years with my criminal history, but being that I didn't agree. I didn't do the deal. Like, had I showed up with the shit or like, okay, I'm on my way to get it now. Because when he called back the day of, like, all right, I'm going to call you and we're going to do the deal. Well, when he called me, I was so leery and paranoid. And I kind of got a word that it's something wrong about this. So just skip it, right? I got word that to skip this deal. So when he called the day of, I just didn't answer and I didn't show up. But had I answered, showed up, or attempted to make the deal, like...
But your brother...
No. The other shit. We did a deal almost to verify that the guy who's ordering it is okay.
Oh.
But we did a deal with him before. That only validated that the guy was cool. Okay. Because we did a deal with him, nothing happened. So he's cool if we ever revisit it in the future, which I just didn't want to do. You know what I mean? That's the deal where it was an actual transaction, which is where I got sentenced. But so the day he called, he's like, "We coming," And no, he said we're gonna do it tomorrow or the next day. Like everything's gonna be set up. But I already got a call from somebody else that be like, you know what? I just don't like this play. This play is not looking right, man. Like skip it. Like we're not doing this, man. If it's in your best interest, man, don't do it. Pretty much. You know what I mean? Basically, the call was a little bit more intense than that, man. But the call actually went like, that dude is a federal informant. They already got you under indictment. Don't do this deal, but you already gonna go to jail for the deal you did with him.
Right.
I got that call. That's the exact call that I received that made me see a ghost. So when he did call for it, I just knew not to do it, and I fell back and shit. But I was already fucked up. So now I'm thinking, why has nothing happened yet?
Yeah. Why haven't they come?
Why haven't they come back? Why haven't they come back? If I already sold to their undercover.
But did they move on completely from the credit card stuff?
Well, they actually still tried to, cause I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I got a call saying that this is a setup, like all of that shit is gonna go bad, but this is how I make my money. Am I being investigated for this? I kind of fell back on that, thinking that if I stop doing this right now, then I'm in the clear. However, when they finally came and they did look for me in a communication device and laptops, when they came, I didn't have none of that shit no more. So they couldn't charge me with that. But although they brought it up in court and they was trying to tie in both, like, okay, he's a credit card fraud cocaine dealer, right? The judge is like, I can't accept that. What do you have on that? He had a large amount of cash. He had a large amount of cash, and he had 3 cell phones. Like, I need something else, though, more than just this hearsay from this guy. So my conviction, the 7 years that I actually got in the federal prison, was more related to the drug thing than the dark web. I mean, than the credit card thing.
But you can talk about the dark web thing.
I could talk about that because, okay, so basically, I was it's statute of limitation, but basically, it seemed like, what do you have, like this dude made all this up. We still need some concrete evidence. We need some where is that computer? If we get that computer, if we get those communication devices where he was doing any of that, like that Silk Road guy got caught in San Francisco.
Oh yeah,
of all places, man.
Oh,
I said, how the hell could this dude, the GOAT of all times, how could he be so close but so far, and how he was looking and how he was moving, man? It just let me know that all the shit that I thought I was doing was very small, breaking the law, committing crimes, circumventing systems, cutting corners. It should just never work, man, because no matter what level you make it to, you'll still do it. He had back then 200 million in Bitcoin, right? How much was it?
It was 100. It was
go with 100 million in Bitcoin in 13.
They took all of it, and then I think there's some that they claim that the government-wise they claim they've never found.
Really?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
I bet they never found it. Yeah. But I was in the federal detention center reading every bit of the story about him, because the owner of the Silk Road, which he started lacking to when he brought violence into it, and whenever violence comes into anything,
if it was him,
violence.
There's some questions there
that he was a front man, huh?
There's not just that he was a front. Like, we know he created it. I'm very comfortable with that. Like, I think it's crystal clear he created it. Mm-hmm. But he was the Dread Pirate Roberts. But there is controversy as to whether or not there were multiple Dread Pirate Roberts. People with access to that.
I believe that part. However, they felt like they got a person they can pin it on, and again, right. like case closed. Now shut up about it. But a new Dread Pirate, the real Dread Pirate, could have still been available. But that laptop, you see how important it was for them to get that laptop and get it open.
Yeah.
So me, for instance, getting caught with my laptop would be cooked. That laptop, which just
so you never got caught with any of that,
burnt up. Nah, I didn't ever get caught with any of that. However, some of the members got caught with it.
How are you able to talk about this today?
So
if this isn't what you really got rolled up on.
So talk about this today. Okay, I know a lot about the dark web, financial crimes and fraud, because again, most people that did it, they did it for survival. Most people that did it, they don't really understand the system. Because I
understand that, but if you're talking about crimes that you guys committed of like an organization you were running, that then a lot of these things you didn't end up getting charged for. Mm-hmm. Are we past the statute of limitations? I mean, to talk about this.
Okay, so for a crime like that, that's like statute statute of limitation on a financial crime, I want to say is what, 7 years?
I think it totally depends on the crime.
It depends on the crime, who was affected, and
Let's
then
hope we don't find out.
okay, because here it is. Okay, me giving a detailed account of what happened, it's still it's loose enough for room to fill in some blanks. So what does that mean? Like, okay, so a lot of these things happen, and they actually happen, and I was directly involved in them, right? However, if you want to go fine tooth comb this and come with something to say, how are you actually connected to this? Who were these people involved? We're gonna need some people to point you out that they actually did this with you. We're gonna need some people to really
Verify.
Verify this, because I mean, I didn't take. I don't feel like I put enough of a dent in it to be on the list of most wanted. However, I participated in something for financial gain that definitely I'm not proud of, that I would tell anybody to not do. My direct involvement in the people involved and how to put the puzzle together exactly, I mean, that's still to be determined. So here I'm here today. My point of even speaking about this is to let anybody know, don't do that. Don't even try that. That shit is watered down and played out, but it's still people online selling you the ideal of it.
But you still you ended up doing like 6-7 years for, it was pretty much all on the drug side.
All of my stuff came from drug related felonies. However, so my stuff, I got arrested for fraud in Florida. I got arrested but all they could really get me for was possession of.
When was this?
This was in 2012.
Yeah.
2011.
So while you're at the peak of this.
Yeah, while I did get arrested because I was inside of a store in Aventura Mall, and a person at Apple said that I looked suspicious, and they stopped me on the way out and said that I attempted to buy something with a stolen credit card, and I had fake IDs on me and credit cards in 3 different names in my possession. I had that in my possession at the time of arrest. So with that being said, so I went down there, investigated it, but this guy racially discriminated against us because when we looked at the camera, none of that happened. None of the things he claimed that was suspicious. I hired a lawyer, over $15,000 in Florida, back and forth to court, and they wanted to see where was this guy ever suspicious, and what, like, he did the same thing everybody else that come in that store do. So you really singled him out because he was black attempting to buy a MacBook Pro? Like,
and so they had to drop everything.
Dropped everything, like lost the money on the lawyer and the bail, but it was no conviction of it. It was no conviction for that. You know what I mean? Because I actually didn't even attempt to buy the shit. I just kind of scanned the same, but all I really had on me was a fake ID. And then inside the car, they just found a lot of little different miscellaneous, allegedly. You know what I mean? Allegedly, they found all this stuff, but it looked bad. But talked to my lawyer, he just like, we need the tape. I mean, if you did what he said, then that is probable cause. But if not, so back to what I was saying. So, fraud, dark web, anything of that nature is just not worth it. Like most people won't succeed and make close to the number of money that I was able to touch off of that.
What made you this time, because you got out, you've been out 6 years now. What made you not want to go back to something like that or any kind of scam? Because like now you have a real career. Finally.
Yeah, okay, finally. So first of all, 19 years, being sentenced to 19 years, doing a total of like 11 years, 8 months, close to 12 years of that. Across everything. That's close to 12 years. Man, I don't have much more. I can't do that again. I can't do that. And then I got a family. I have much more to live for these days opposed to back then. It was just like risk it all, bet it all, win big, or deal with the downside, which, you know, how bad could it be? So these days, I just realized that in prison, meeting people who I probably wouldn't have been able to talk to had I not went to federal prison. So I worked my way, when I was in prison, I worked my way down from a medium to a low to a camp. So a medium
Yeah.
is more hard. It's a little harder core crimes, more politics, drugs, violence, guns. Low, a little less of that, less politics. You can interact with different people, conversate, take these ACE classes, learn from people who you may not have been able to interact with had you not been at the same place they were at the same time. And then a camp, they call it real sweet because you have you have mainly criminals who are financial crime, fraud, scammers, insider trading, tax evasion. You have people who created real multi-million-dollar companies and that did very well for themselves in life that you're able to have access to. So that woke me up that none of the stuff I did was worth anything. So the max I made from doing illicit activity, even if I made $5 million, which I didn't, $1 million is not a lot of money unless you never had it. You get it. It's not going to change your life completely. You're not riding off in no sunset because as soon as you spend $1, you're not a millionaire no more.
That's right.
So you have to have something beyond that. So me reaching that level twice in my life, once in my 20s, once in my 30s, right? And then losing it, getting wiped out pretty much completely except for whatever else I was able to fall back on. It gave me like, I did it all wrong. And then listen to a person that, okay, when you get around a person that's doing stuff way better than you, the best thing to do is shut up. So I was able to be quiet around people who I otherwise would not be able to talk to, like high level executives that created $50-100 million businesses. And then when I tell my story and what I'm there for, the risk I took for the small amount of return, they're calling me stupid without calling me stupid. And they're like, how come you didn't go learn this? And I'm like, where in my community were they teaching this? Where would I have learned this? The first time I tried to buy a house when I was rolling hard in the early 2000s, the house was $175,000. I was meeting with this guy who was a realtor and he had access to this house. I brought a bag of money to the meeting, man. He told me, that's not how this go, man. You're not. What are you doing, man? Are you crazy? Like, why would I think to buy a house, I could bring the money there, majority in cash, and then I pay the rest off over a 2, 3, 4 month period? I had no clue that that's not how it went because nobody told me. I'm in my early 20s thinking I got bags of money. I'm about to go buy a house as simple as buying a used car. No. So now I'm learning more and more about financial literacy from people who really did it. Well, they're stupid because they're in prison. No. They got greedy too. Or maybe some of the things that they're doing that most executives do, they just got caught. Because come to find out that some of these little, tax evasion get you 5 years, tax elusion get you probation. So it's eluding your taxes is one thing, but evading them is you intentionally hid money.
What is the difference?
Eluding is just like you might have. Invasion, you ran off, you never planned on paying, you totally never had good intent. Eluding, like, okay, we see you didn't fill this form out exactly right. The numbers aren't that off, but they're off. We're going to give you a warning, a misdemeanor, right? Because people mess up on it. You can't blame the tax preparer because they said this is exactly what you told them to do. You get a warning. But evasion, where you hid millions and millions of dollars intentionally, this is prison time. They don't want to even hear it. You knew what you were doing the whole way. This was your plan. So anyway, high level executives that I may not have got a chance to talk to. So they let me know that I never did much as I thought I did. Although it's never a bragging. So I didn't come here to brag. I'm not acting like I was a kingpin. Never was a kingpin. Never wanted to do kingpin activities. I didn't never want to be on the top of the fraud mountain either. A fraud Mount Rushmore. All I wanted to do is make some extra bread, make a better way for myself, thinking that money was the answer, but it's not. Because as soon as you get the money, you move the goalpost and you're going after another goal, and you're going to continue to try to do something else to get more money. Like, there's no need for me to do a drug deal. I was making good money. Like, as you just said, it was like, no means no. Stop asking me. Had I not agreed to that, who knows what would have happened with exactly what I was doing, but it wouldn't have been as severe as me going to federal prison for, getting sentenced to 7 years and then, losing pretty much everything and having to start over again. You know what I mean? So meeting those people, learning about real business, learning about what really matters, learning about why don't I have business credit? Why don't I have a real business that's doing legitimate business? Starting from one level, building it up. If you can build a drug organization, if you can deal drugs,
That's the
you can
thing.
build something legitimate. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. You look at a lot of, I guess at least some drug dealers. It's like, damn, especially when they get high up, right? If you had used this in the real world, you could have been something.
Could have been some because the margins are low. The margins are low, and you're not contributing to nothing good. So it's kind of like that shit wasn't worth it, especially when you're gonna go make a bunch of money and have to give it all back. Like you're still gonna start from a place you could have just started from there in the beginning. Like, so I'm telling everybody that don't do what I did. Like, I was a fool. You can look at a fool. You can look at me, and I'm telling you directly what I did was completely out of pocket, and I didn't have to do it. But nowadays, just doing stuff the right way, and it's not the same money as doing that, but I feel a lot better about it. I'm able to help people. I'm able to really assist people with accomplishing their goals, which means like still people in communities. And
you're building people's credit scores, right?
Well, I'm helping with that because I don't work directly with people's personal information at this point. Like, I just don't even want to get near that, but I have the resources to refer them out and to get them to whatever goal they need to get to with my network. My network now is all legitimate business people. So what it is that I don't have to be ducking, looking over, and it's like the money is good enough where I'm doing well for myself. I mean, yes, I can grow it. Like, I'm gonna meet with a couple other business partners while I'm out here that's showing me how they're killing it and making higher margin, offering different products and services to people who need this. Because in the community where I came from, like, a lot of people don't even know how to form a business entity. It's as simple as going on Google and like a 5 or 7 minute process. But then once you form your business entity, how do you build the business and make it credible? They have no clue. So it's so many people that don't know where to start that I can help them for a nominal fee get started and create something where they can run off on their own. They don't have to stay underneath me. They don't have to work with me or for me, but I can definitely point them to the way. Now, mind you, a long time ago when I was in it, I needed somebody to do that for me. So it's still thousands and thousands of people who need that today. And that's the service that I offer people. So
you've been doing that basically since you left prison?
I started off trying to do credit repair, which was not my passion. Credit repair is not my passion, and it just wasn't necessarily for me. Yeah. So what I realized is that helping people get financing, funding, and build their businesses up to become credible is just more. It's a industry where, like I said, 8 out of 10 people you see anywhere need the service, like a person with a small time flower shop to a contractor, a plumber, or a painter, and they have no clue. They're working as a sole proprietor. They don't have one business credit card. They're bootstrapping everything. But if they had access to $50K, they would have a better business, $100K. You know what I mean? So this worked for people from all walks of life. And I just happen to have a lot of resources to connect people with what they need. You know what I mean? So why trust me? Don't go do it yourself. You know what I mean?
Do you have, now it's been several years, do you have a relationship with your parents and your brothers today?
Relationship with my parents became way better once they realized that I was going to be a different person than all of the rebellion and going against. And pretty much I want to say my dad, he just wasn't messing with me at all. My mom, I could talk to her. We could have a conversation. We could speak, but we got into a better place because, I realized how important family is. Family is important to me. And then everything we do is based off of them, based off of family. They're older now. They're in their latter years. Like I said, they were successful. So like, oh, I'm going to be the first millionaire in my family. No, it was several millionaires in my family. However, I just didn't want to take their route. Right. And it took them a long time. They did it the hard way, the right way, the typical way, the American dream way. So you can accomplish whatever goal you have. You're talking about people, my parents, not with the highest education. They were able to come out, buy properties, get a rental property, and build up enough money and have an income to put them in a position now where they're retiring in a good position. You know what I mean? A lot of people will have to work the rest of their life.
Yeah.
because they're making bad decisions in 20s, 30s, like hustling, scamming, dealing. Like these are things that only get you up temporarily and then take you so far back.
Do you have a relationship with your kids?
I have a great relationship with my kids
That's
now.
great.
Like
How many
now,
kids do you have?
I have 3 girls.
That's awesome.
3 girls, and I mean, well, I missed the most important years of their lives being in prison. Graduations, both. So
The older ones.
the older ones, yes, graduations. Important moments like liking boys, getting into boys, transferring from middle schools to high. Both, I missed both for both of those older girls, and it's kind of like some form of resentment there because my decision was to go chase money instead of be about my children, because I'm sure they would have took me as a father without making tons of money that was temporary anyway, because that didn't benefit them.
Right.
The money didn't.
They wanted their dad around.
They wanted their dad around, so I just contributed to the separation of a household just by being selfish. And here it is. I just don't. I mean, I see things different at this point in life, because where else? And this is America, where anything is possible.
That's right.
I mean, all you got to do is work towards it and focus on it like a laser, and you definitely will achieve your goals. So the people telling you what you can't have, like you can get rich. Anything that's too good to be true, it probably is. Like, I mean, I went for it. I went for the Kool-Aid. I drank the Kool-Aid. I rationalized in my mind, oh, I'm doing this and I'm gonna help so many other people, or I'm gonna do this until I get to this level and then I'm gonna switch it. It just don't work like that. It's just best to just not mess with it at all. Which right now, I mean, I don't know the scams. I don't know what people are doing. I don't keep up with it. However, whatever it is, it's just
Not for you.
It's not for me, and I don't think it's for anybody, really. I mean,
But so your daughters, obviously, like you said, they resent the fact you weren't there for that. But there's obviously been forgiveness for that if you're in their life. That's a pretty good thing.
yeah. And then the moms didn't trash me. And
That's
then
also a
Google
good
though,
thing.
but Google trashed me when they were able to go Google the charges or some of the stuff that I was convicted of, and
Yeah,
all
that'll
this
do it.
stuff is public information. It's like, so Dad, they're saying you were one of the biggest drug dealers in East Oakland. Like, I was like,
You're goddamn right, I was.
Yeah, like newspaper articles. Like one time I got caught that they took I think, okay, so like $240 and some change in cash. They turned in $170, kept the drugs, right? And whatever. Oh, we got this guy. Finally, we wiped him out this time. He was a distributor for this neighborhood. He was a major distributor. It's a local paper, so it's not,
Yeah.
it didn't go far national news or nothing, because I was never big time. And I didn't even never think I was big time. It's just like a small level in it's small fish in a big pond. However, it's like still took so much from me, even with that dumb shit, right? That shit
Yeah.
still took a lot from me. But when they found that out, I had some explaining to do, and I had to just tell them, like, I made a bunch of dumb decisions, man. I mean, I can't blame environment, although I was a product of this environment. I can't necessarily. I had a decision to make.
Yeah, you had a good house.
I
You
did have a
you
good
had
house.
you had 2 good parents, and your dad's literally a cop, but you still lived where you lived, and the temptations were there. And
Everywhere.
again, like, your parents are working, you got time alone after school where it's you decide what to do. I mean, when sometimes if you're in the wrong place at those ages, that's what happens. You see, just like you said, you see the shiny object, you won't chase that thing.
Exactly. And then you gotta think, so that's Oakland, Santa Cruz, Gilroy, Menlo Park. Menlo Park, you have
Bougie.
you have these affluent areas.
That's where he's
San
from,
Ramon,
Santa Cruz.
Danville, Blackhawk. The kids my same age had no clue of what was going on. Their chances of success were much higher.
Right.
Not to say it was 100%. Their schools were different. I don't want to say better. They were different. The environment, they didn't see no one dealing crack on a corner or at a wash house. They did not see that. Had we take those same kids and put crack there where they
that's
were,
interesting.
right there,
Yep.
we don't care what color they were, just put it there.
Yes.
A lot of it too.
That's
And that's
interesting.
all they see, right? What's the chances of them gravitating towards that?
Sure.
Right quick? I can make $5,000 and I'm 13 years old. Wait, no, you kidding me?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Some of them would have chose that route. So I
Absolutely.
mean, You know,
I think that's a fair point.
Some of my friends I grew up with that didn't choose that route at all don't know what the inside of a jail looked like.
Yeah.
Like my same age, they grew up on our same street. They had both parents, Roxanne and Russell. We had Gerald and Kenny. We had Eric. We had it was a lot of other kids my age that lived in the houses that didn't never go around the corner in front of the liquor store. They never did. And I don't want to say I want to be like them, but they don't know jail, pain. They don't know 100 people that's been murdered like me. They don't know the killers. They don't know the killers. They know they exist, but they don't know who they are, like me.
In some ways, good for them, though, you know?
Some ways good for them. Maybe they're not as traumatized. So I look at myself that I could be traumatized and didn't know how to deal with it. But I don't want to use it as an excuse because then they'll be like, oh, you're looking for an escape. And, you know, some people that see this will all form judgment about me, which I've been judged by a judge and sentenced to do 19 years in prison, which is whatever off of that, and I paid my debt to society.
That's right.
So, however, whoever made that just judicial system and decided this is what you get for that, that will probably have to be addressed with them. You know what I mean? It doesn't say, like, if you kill someone, you get what you get for killing a person. That's right. But some people get 15 years for it, and some people get life.
Depending on the nature of what they're charged
But
with.
even if we don't agree with the time that's going to be dealt, it's already been written. So come on, man, 2/3 of 20 years is what I did. So do I deserve another chance to succeed in life, or should it just be over with me? Because when I left out of federal prison, my case manager told me that I should go sign up for SSI for $800 a month.
SSI?
SSI, because I'm a disadvantaged minority. Anybody that gets sentenced to close to 20 years in prison is now a disadvantaged minority. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
For that, I can go get SSI, just take a pill, you know, once daily, and they'll give you $800 a month and $300 on the EBT card, and you'll be fine. So this was her recommendation for me. After I paid my debt to society, this is what society has for me.
Fade off into the sunset,
you'll be all right. Most of your people take it. It's a good deal. Most of your people take this deal. You should too. And so I told her, fuck you. I was like, fuck you. I'm going to be way more successful than you.
Good for you.
All you got is your job. However, it's just like, wow, $800 after going through so much trauma in my life from a small child, which was self-inflicted. But her recommendation is you can go get some Social Security.
Yeah.
California, state of California, give it to you on the beginning.
It's the easy answer, man. It's the easy answer, but I'm glad you didn't take it.
You know what I mean?
I'm glad you're doing your thing.
She's like, don't you have anxiety? You have a little anxiety, right?
Oh, God.
You can take we got something for you, right?
Here's an SSRI. Go for it. Yeah.
Social Security.
Crazy.
No, thank you.
There's something wrong with that. That's so sketchy to me.
It is. Well, I remember her. I never forget her face because she was serious. I was hoping she was playing, but she was serious.
They're dead
Had
serious.
I said yes and signed up for that, they would have given to you. They would have sent me to a site, gave me a form, take it to the county office, sign up, and then that would be my life. And who knows what's in that pill?
Who knows, man? But you stayed in Oakland. You're born and raised. You're hanging around there now. You're doing your business.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Well, actually, so I have a family in Well, my daughter. Well, I'm not in the same household with my daughter. However, it's like they're in the suburbs, so I'm there with them. But where I live, I like to live where I'm from.
Yeah,
and even though this is the city that they told me, and the news tells everybody is the worst city, one of the worst cities crime-wise in the nation right now, because the government, local government is failing. The same city that last year, like 1 year ago to the day, maybe a year and a week ago, I was shot in an attempted robbery. So I was shot in an attempted robbery in Oakland, leaving out of an establishment. The cops said I was ambushed. They watched the cameras. Those guys were kind of sitting there.
They're trying to rob you.
They must have saw me in there. They saw the watch. They saw me come out, and they were like, hey, bro, what's up? And I'm like, what do you mean, what's up? He's like, hey, let me get that off you. Let you get that off me. And I'm looking at them, and they're approaching me, and they're looking sketchy. And as they get close to me, I see the guns. I'm trying to, comply. Yeah. They start whooping my ass.
Fuck.
Hitting me upside the head. I mean, I'm not a bitch.
How many of that? It was
two guys.
Yeah.
So I'm tussling with the guys, trying to get him away from me, and he shot. Bam, went in my foot. Now I'm scared. My heart's pumping. I'm about to die. I try to get away from them, and I'm not giving them my shit. They threw 8 more shots at me.
8 more shots?
That's in the paper also.
How many hit you?
February 26, 2023, I was shot 2. 2 of the 8.
Two of
the 10.
2 out of 10.
And that was February 26,
God they're a bad
2023.
shot.
It's in a paper, local paper. But
And you still got the bullet lodged
I still
in
got
your
the
fucking...
bullet lodged in right here.
Yeah, we were feeling that before. He was holding it up for Alessi and me.
I still don't believe all people are bad people. They just don't know better. They look like me. I couldn't identify their faces. So when the cops came to the hospital to get me to cooperate and identify these guys, they tried to get me to cooperate and identify these guys. I just said, I don't know. And they like, why are you protecting some people that tried to kill you? I said, I don't know. And I don't know why they would do such a thing, but I can't remember anything about them. And I'm not going to be much of a help for you. Well, we saw the cameras. They ambushed you. They were waiting on you to come out. Do you have to know these guys? Because they kind of were there waiting for you. I don't know. And this is something that's in me that won't even allow me to cooperate with the cops to help them arrest these dudes that's out there doing this.
There's still something there.
You know what I mean?
There's still this
but
us and them.
They showed me pictures and they kind of really was like, just say anything that you recognize them, because in that area, this same description of these two guys have done this.
Yeah, so they could do it to someone else.
You know what I mean? We made an arrest. Just point him out. And it was took.
You still couldn't do that.
I mean,
but what if they go out and hurt someone else like that and they actually kill him? They tried to shoot you 10 times, man.
They shot 10 shots at me that night. 2 hit me. One still with me.
That's
One
nuts.
still with me. But again, everybody's not like that. It's way more good people in Oakland than them 2, or 10, or 50, or 100, or if 1,000. If it's 1,000 bad actors there, it's 400,000 people in the city. All of them aren't terrible. I
agree.
So I eat there. I eat there. I participate in community activities. I go outside. I'm not hiding up under no rock. I just won't good people still exist. My thing would be I should interact with more of them, only them rather than those. You know what I mean? I just don't. I'm not gonna count them out. So yeah, that happened. I'm here to tell the story.
It's a hell of a story, man.
I mean, ultimately, I think I'm here for a purpose, man. I just need to impact somebody's life, in some way or another. You know what I mean? Do better. Almost anybody can be better than me. Just don't do dumb shit. Yeah. Don't make irrational decisions.
Don't make the left when the right is there.
I mean, don't go try to justify bullshit. Like, they're dumb. They'll buy these drugs anyway. If I don't sell it to them, oh well, you know.
That's gonna get you.
I got a way to scam the government out of money and whatever. Falsely fill out an application to get money. I'm gonna take it because it's gonna change my life. No, it won't. It won't. Fraudsters normally, like the biggest ones that I met in federal prison that got 10, 20. Like I met a guy. They said he single-handedly destroyed the real estate market in the whole region. He's 68 years old. They gave him 20 years. I met him at Lompoc Federal Prison. Name? Oh my God! You want to know his name?
Lompoc Federal Prison, real estate, 20 years. 68 years old. We can find it.
You can find it.
I'm sure we can find it.
He's gonna die there.
Yeah.
For $40 or $50 million that he won't even get to enjoy.
Exactly.
And he spoke to me.
I'll
tell you off camera, but
okay.
I mean, I'll tell you off camera.
All right,
he told me that he more than likely won't walk out those doors, and I had a decision to make when I get out. I could either be a part of the solution or a part of the problem. He said he met a lot of African American people in his market, and he put them in houses he knew they couldn't afford. He just wanted the loan. He said he let the money fuel him, and for that. And he had like tears in his eyes telling me, a black kid, that how else could I speak to a $50 million real estate mogul? I can't.
In prison.
In prison. They don't they don't just walk up to people like me and just speak to me and tell me
Funny
their story.
How it takes that, though, for a guy like that to have perspective. Would have been nice if he had that when he was still out there.
Single-handedly destroyed an entire market in California.
That's fucked up.
And he ends up he's still there. Health was failing already before I left in 2017. It was failing already. 2016 when I left there. So
that's what you got.
For money, he like, what am I gonna do?
It's just like you said, man. Greed can fuck you.
You know what I mean? Like partners in some of the biggest hotel casinos sitting there for doing sketchy activity, but they made over $100 million. I don't know where I can go talk to a person that generated $100 million. I don't know.
Yeah, but guys like that, and I've learned this about a lot of dudes in my previous career when I was around money. I saw dudes who did it the right way, and I saw dudes who did it the wrong way. And the dudes who did it the wrong way, it was always the same problem. They never had enough. Didn't
Never
matter.
had enough.
Didn't matter. They needed more. They didn't care who they fucked, who they stepped on, who they killed. Not literally, but you know what I mean. And then there's a lot of people in the world who will kill people.
They have murder for hire people in the higher levels. Murder for hires are in the higher levels.
But it's a sad thing to me when people step on other people just for whatever extra gains they can get. But Trulane, dude, you got a hell of a story, man. I really appreciate you coming out here from California to do this. I'm happy to see you doing things the right way now. I hope you keep doing that, and you got a lot to live for. You got a beautiful family and all that as well. So keep doing your fucking thing, man. And this was fun.
Man, I appreciate you also, man. I mean, I watch your content all the time, man.
Thank you.
I mean, you contribute to people like provoke. I like to say your channel provokes the thinking of society, because a lot of people don't know what happens in East Oakland. They don't actually know it exists. I'm a living testament that's existing right under your nose. You can be 5 or 10 miles away and never see that.
That's right.
So everything comes out of there isn't terrible, but based off of what they're exposed to, the chances are very high that it's not going to be a lot of success coming out of there. So I mean, I appreciate you, man. Thanks again, man.
Dude,
talk to you soon, man. Thank you, man. Man.
All right. Thanks, Julian.
Thank you.
Everybody else, you know what it is. Give it a thought. Get back to me. Peace. Thank you guys for watching the episode. Before you leave, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and smash that like button on the video. It's a huge help. And also, if you're over on Instagram, be sure to follow the show at Julian Dorey Podcast, or also on my personal page at Julian D. Dorey. Both links are in the description below. Finally, if you'd like to catch up on our latest episodes, use the Julian Dorey Podcast playlist link in the description below. Thank you.